Welcome everybody to our weekly actual play D&D show set in our homebrew world of Aradun. Our music is licensed through musicbed.com, and we occasionally will use some ambience from... One second. Sorry, there was an overlay issue. It has been dealt with. We occasionally use TabletopAudio for ambience, as well as Syrinscape. Bringing everyone back in. What'd you say
about that? You
What
seem
did I say?
very unsure about your Syrinscape thing.
Well, we don't really, honestly, we don't really use it for this show. We use it for other shows occasionally. But every now and then, maybe I want to throw some birds in here. But I haven't in a while.
Chirp.
Because the ambiance computer's over there. Anyway, unless I just want to listen to it myself. Stefan, who are some of our partners?
You want to know about our partners?
I do.
Partners like the good old Arcane Spectacles.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah, step into Arcane Spectacles, where every roll of the dice is an adventure. Their exotic wood dice vaults and hand-selected dice sets are the perfect treasure for any tabletop RPG enthusiast. And with their personalized D&D themed Christmas ornaments, you can keep the magic of your games alive all year round. Each ornament can be customized with your party's names, making it a unique and meaningful memento. We have one for this and last party, and I hang them on my tree every year because Shannon is a very thoughtful friend and party member, and I love them. So why wait? Don't. Right now, join them at arcanespectacles.com and roll for the ultimate tabletop experience. Next up, we've got Underground Oracle Publishing. They are a bestseller ENnie-nominated TTRPG publisher, building new and exciting settings for the cipher system of every genre you can imagine. Each setting includes everything you need to explore its unique world, including lore, species, descriptors, foci, creatures, ciphers, artifacts, and all of the rules that you need to play for as little as $3.50. Not really, $3, just $3. But you can bump it up to $3.50 and be funny. You can join their Patreon and help share each of the worlds that they create. Next up, we've got Eddie Yorke. He is our character artist. You'll see his art displayed for all our characters. They're really nice. He's an illustrator based in the UK, that's United Kingdoms, who makes art for games and books. To visit his portfolio and get in contact with him, visit eyorke.com. And then we've got 1985 Games. They create affordable, accessible, high-quality accessories for Dungeons and Dragons and other tabletop role-playing games. I was going to say Dungeons and Daddies because I've been watching or listening to that again recently. They don't sponsor us, but they're another fun...
they're fun.
People that you can listen to, but after you've listened to all of our stuff. Sean uses their NPC cards, and it looked like he was just going through and realizing that not all of them may have been used.
It's true.
Stuck with cracks.
It's true.
They have things listed on the back of them that Shannon makes an effort to remember, and I don't really care because I don't use them. But one day I will, and then I'll care.
Yeah, there's a bit of an Since I've used almost all of them, it makes it so that if Stefan, if you were to buy them, you would have already seen them all.
Yeah, but you know what? It's fun because they give you all a list of their names, descriptions, secrets, monkey business that they are up to, their lives and stuff, and you can use that to kind of make different people. Same prompts, but different people. Yep. So anyways, use Paradice Prod to get 10% off your entire order. And then we've got miscellaneous stuff, recaps and VODs on Discord. We have a Discord, join it. We post our VODs and recaps there. We'll also respond to you if you message sometimes, but only if we like you. Just kidding. We'll message all the time. You can also join Paradice on Bluesky, Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Discord, Instagram, and TikTok. So do that. Please join us. Have fun. We're here. We love you. Sean, let's play. Let's cut
it. let's jump over to our recap. I successfully got all the links out. Thanks. Sorry, I'm just looking for an NPC card, actually.
Always looking.
Always.
Never cooking.
That's not true. All right. Everyone's here. So let's talk about last session.
Here.
Thanks. Last we left off, Iron and Mana made their way east along the roadway with their prisoner, Bjorn Turneroff. Along the way, they were stopped by a begging woman on the side of the road near an old dried-out creek. She claimed her sister is up the creek and that she had been kidnapped by a mysterious man. The woman couldn't offer many details about the man other than the darkness behind his eyes. The party seemed unwilling to help, especially given there being no reward, really. But once Sass scryed on the young woman missing and discovered that she was held captive by what looked like fiendish cultists, the party agreed to help. With Sass's scry knowledge and Septimus's detect good and evil, they dashed up the creek and found where the ritual was taking place. They sprung into action and a skirmish ensued. The cultists revealed themselves to be a powerful devil, accompanied by several abhorrent demons. The party defeated them and saved the woman from certain death, or worse. All they could learn was that the man promised them great prosperity if they helped him. Evidence points towards beguiling enchantment magic at play. Fjern was able to collect the ritual book of the fiends. The journey continued, and soon enough the party found themselves back in the bustling streets of Hyven. Here they delivered Bjorn over to the Commodore's custody. In their last words with him, he offered some knowledge of the Bone Rattler crew. The new captain, Alina, is relentless, and the crew may not like her new leadership, especially those who hold dual loyalties to the ship and the Alumno Defiance, as they followed Captain Hastings due to his leadership within that rebellion. Lasha, the orc sorceress, is more amenable to peace, but her devotion to Alina can blind her often. He said his goodbyes as the guards took him away. The party made their way toward Main Street to check on the preparations for Jaquet's birthday party on the 30th of Anarum. Along the way, they noticed the alley leading to the Avenirian Electrum facility was fenced off and guarded by figures in black. Fjern sized the guards up and demanded some answers. The guards rebuffed him with the help of a hold person spell. Regardless, this indicates that something went down at the facility. Sigil may have hired a different crew for his elemental heist once the party was no longer available for it. Or something else happened. Once near the Harlequin Chalice, they not only found Orin planning for Jaquet's party, but they also found his hand-drawn posters all over Main Street, as he's wont to do, for advertising events at the Harlequin Chalice. After some clarifications on some miscommunications on the exact details of this extravaganza, they came to the same table and planned out the next day's preparations. There's a bit of confusion on when this party actually was supposed to be happening and who exactly was supposed to be invited, what kind of food and drink was going to be provided, as all Jaquet really communicated was throw a party. The number one priority of Jaquet's, though, is that everyone must be invited from the Admiralty Court to Crass Alley to the Old Brigade Gate District. All must know of the celebration of Jaquet Touchard turning 27 on the last day of the month. So we left off with some of these clarifications and folks heading off to their respective beds for the evening, whether that was the cold waters creeping up along the sandy shores or the newly acquired rooms in the Harlequin Chalice, given the destruction of the the Cask and Crow due to your ambush not too long ago. Before you all went to sleep, Fjern did put down a few drinks while reading through the ritual book that he could read since he understands the language of Infernal and Abyssal. Mostly it contained rituals of conjuration, summoning, and binding. Of particular note was some of the rituals had to do with binding an extraplanar entity to the material plane so that they could not be banished from it. But as devilish and fiendish books are wont to do, it began to creep into the parts of his brain he did not want it to creep into. So he shut the book for the evening, as he heard a little whisper in his ear from a fiendish voice disembodied. So, you all head off to sleep. Did you all get Jaquet? Obviously, I know you got your own room. But for the other three, did you get your own rooms or did you split any rooms? They were not that expensive to get your own room.
Then
Yeah,
probably.
I think I got my own.
Okay. If I remember correctly, I told you that the rooms were 5 copper. And then Jaquet's was just 1 silver. So, just for your reference. All right, so you all have your own rooms. Fearn,
Oh.
can you give me a wisdom saving throw?
Sure, Sean. Hey, that was a 16 look.
16. Okay. So, Fearn, you steal your mind from any possessions this evening. You still have a dream where you're amongst the snowy landscape, where you're at that waypoint, where you're just sitting by a smoldering fire. And it's almost the second you realize you're in the dream is the second you come out of the dream. You don't wake up, you just kind of, it's almost like this very quick instant dream, and then your brain, almost beginning to develop an immunity to this, pushes that visual out. When you wake up in the morning, you're able to remember that you did have a dream, but that you did not spend a significant amount of time there, and that you didn't spend long within the actual dream itself. So you know it's still affecting you, but this night you were not taken over by it.
Okay.
So with that, though, everyone else's evenings go with little disturbances. And you would all wake up sometime in the morning in your respective locations. No one doesn't wake up in the morning.
I wanted to go swimming in the morning for a couple of reasons.
What are those reasons?
The first reason, I'm diving for things for the goodie bags for the party. Specifically seashells, sea glass, if there's any, and maybe I'll go over to where we had fought the Machina for the governor and see if there's any trinkets or random things over there that I can put into little bags.
Give me an investigation check.
Sure.
While Sass is doing this, is there anything else particular that's not, group activity or when you all come back together that anyone's looking to do in the morning?
Yeah, I'm gonna make some explosives.
Fair enough, Bruce.
Sean, I'm gonna message you. Yeah,
please do. Anyone else? Morning activities?
Good.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, besides the regular exercise that Fearn does in the morning, he'd probably come back and just start taking notes. Looks like he's writing something down. That's it.
Okay, you would, when you're doing your morning workout, you would notice Sass kind of just fucking around by the shore, not working out like she usually promises.
Swimming is a workout.
Yeah. But Sass is fucking around.
It's leg day, yeah.
It's leg day. So. Septimus?
There's two things I actually would like to do.
Okay.
First one, can I go see Hal?
Yeah,
do you think I have time to do that?
Yeah. I mean, Jaquet, you guys don't really have anything planned for this day, so absolutely there would be time for that. We'll do that after we resolve Sass's morning routine. And what was the second thing you wanted to do, Septimus?
On the way back, or before, depending on how time works, go to the liquor store or any place that sells booze.
Yeah, totally. Absolutely.
And we don't have to role play, but
It's the package store.
Get a nice packy. Get Jaquet a bottle of wine or whiskey that is from Gwenvalier. That
So thoughtful.
is not too expensive, but is not like I cheaped out.
It's not well alcohol, but it's not, vintage. Yeah, we could definitely do that. All right, Sass. What was your investigation check?
11.
11? Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not really gonna be able to find any trinkets,
That's okay.
but there's an abundance of seashells. Like you can spend all morning if you wanted to, just like picking out like just individual ones. They might not be the most beautiful, like you're not finding like super fancy conch shells or anything, but you're able to find enough to make however many goodie bags you want to make.
I'm making 20 because that's how many business cards we had left.
Okay.
That's what Fearn said. So and we can do there's something I want to do after. We don't need to role play it, but after I'm done swimming.
Okay.
So diving for the seashells and the sea glass and whatever, and then my other thing is I wanted to be like, hey girl, what's up?
Is that how Sass does this?
No. No. Of course not.
Because you'd get a very different response.
I would, yeah.
Could be better.
As I'm like, my bag or whatever is full of the seashells, I'll just kind of like turn around and like doing like just kind of treading water and like look out and be like, are you gonna say hello? It's been a fucking week. Hello, hi. I missed you. No, I didn't, but hi.
So, Sass, first I just want to set the scene for you a little bit. It's early in the morning and you've been swimming in the murky waters of the port. So you can see like there's all the bottoms of the ships that are all around, covered in razor sharp barnacles. There's so much debris on the ground around here because it's a port. So it's not just like the natural movements of the sand and rocks and sea life. There's also just like old rotten wooden crates. You could find plenty of sea glass because there's been plenty of bottles just dropped into this port by sailors on the morning after, or just like fallen from crates. There's plenty of interesting treasures. Use value pretty low, but something that would catch Sass's eye while she's exploring under here. And overall, it's quite it's got this sort of opaque greenish hue to the water here. It's only when you kind of swim out past the boats that it clears up a little bit. But as you're sifting through these treasures of yours, you can say what you just said out into the water, putting it out into the abyss. And you would just sort of be floating there for a moment, waiting your feet, waiting for a response of some kind. Catching on the water, you could hear some of the familiar just sort of sounds of the deeper ocean that is unnaturally coming to you. The area around here is too noisy and the water too sterile for there to be these types of noises, but you would just start to hear sort of the slow buzzing of marine life. Swirls of schools of fish moving about in murmurous swarms. The almost staccato sounds of dolphins coming through your head, and then that slow song of whales in the depths. This is just sort of this cradle of sound that you're brought into that feels like a hug. And a tight hug at that. Like someone hugging someone they haven't seen for a long time.
I missed this. I don't like being in the land for too long. This is comforting.
And as you're resting there in that comforting feel of the ocean, you can see sort of dancing around your arms, as if engaging in the hug, is that aurora green light. That is her presence.
I do have some questions for you if you have a second.
The light does kind of like dance around and then appears in front of you. It's not taking on any shape or silhouette. It's just almost glistening in an amorphous shape. This is not I wouldn't say perplexing, but it's like you almost feel a sense of ease you haven't felt in the presence of your patron in a while since you were on your own, basically.
Okay. Well, first question I have is maybe an easy one. It's my friend's birthday today, and tomorrow, and I need to bring a present. Do you have anything special I could give him? I was just gonna go find a hat, a fancy hat, but I thought I might ask here first.
Give me a persuasion roll.
Oh, natural 1 for a 5.
You feel just sort of a flurry of just like sea bubbles come up and wrap all around you in sort of a teasing way, almost like you kidding me?
All right, I just thought I'd ask. I'll get him a hat, fine.
And then there's like this one little like tiny like crab that just sort of got caught in it that's just floating in front of you.
Yeah, I don't think he'd like the crab, but thank you.
The crab just starts to swim away that weird way crabs do. They like spin their hands like propellers.
The helicopter mode.
Yeah, the helicopter mode. Yeah.
So I feel like I always have a million questions, but this just one that's bothering me. I think it's you, and maybe it's not, but I keep having this dream about a cave that's filled with paintings of shipwrecks, and sometimes they have sand pouring out of them. Are you sending me that? If so, I don't understand what it is.
Give me a persuasion roll.
Please be better. Please be better. Please be better. 13.
This ethereal light shimmers in that way that you can see rays of light in the ocean when you're underwater. If your eyes are open, or there's a camera underwater, you can see just those godly rays that come down, and they have that way of rapidly shifting when a seagull flies over or something. And it shimmers until part of it outstretches and it turns into the shape of a woman's hand. And she just comes up sort of slowly, lifting up with a finger pointed, taps on your necklace at the gem.
Am I supposed to... This is where it's from? Did you find it there?
The hand comes forward and gently cradles the pearl on your necklace. And it pulls it. And you feel whatever chain you had it on turns to seaweed and comes off of your neck.
Yeah.
And now this shape is holding it.
Yeah.
And almost like the shape is examining it. And then holds it up, and you can see just some clouds of sand start to pour out of it. And then it whips it through that, and it all disappears. And another hand goes and just taps it again. And you notice, though, as it's no longer on your neck, you start to get tired. Like swimming is becoming harder.
Oh, shit. Can I have that?
Doesn't
back,
affect
please?
your ability to breathe or speak underwater, but you just suddenly can tell that like you couldn't cast Eldritch Blast right now if you tried.
Interesting. Okay.
You almost start to sink a little and float a little. You start to lose control. The waves are pulling you more as this thing's just sort of staring at it. You no longer, you can still breathe, but you can't talk underwater now suddenly.
Got it.
and then it just flings it towards you, and the seaweed attaches to your neck again, and turns into the regular chain or rope you usually use, and you gain all your power back.
Great. Right.
But she seems to be indicating that whatever place that is related to the pearl.
Okay. Interesting. Okay. Thank you, I guess. I mean, I did learn something. I had other questions, but honestly, it's too fucking early and I can't remember them. So I have some shopping I need to do, and I gotta sneak around Fearn because I skipped leg day. So I'll see you later, and glad to be back.
As you're floating there and you say see you later, the light is suddenly very close to you.
Whoa, okay.
And you can see that hand shape touches your cheek where there was once a barnacle. And you can feel now not light caressing your cheek, but a corporeal hand as the light comes from the fingertip down. You can see that barnacle-covered green forearm and those clawed fingers as that point of the claw just taps the scar.
I don't want another one, thank you.
The hand freezes in front and then comes down again. The sharp claw taps the pearl. And you would just hear one sentence from her before a wave kind of like whirls around you, displaces you, and all of this is pulled out to sea again. She would just simply say, "Continue to help me. Continue to acquire us power. Use those around you, and there'll be no need for anything like that." As the fingertip taps on your cheek again, and then the voice and everything that came with it, the sea sounds, all get dragged back out to the sea. A very classic warlock patron message to the patronee of, as long as you keep doing what you're doing and acquiring us power, there'll be no need for critters in your cheek.
Yeah. Fuck. Okay. Right. And I'll kind of like in the second Pirates movie, how like the creatures like look out of the water, like as they're coming on shore. I'll look that and see where Fearn is, and I'm gonna try and sneak by without being noticed.
Give me a perception check.
Now I get a natural 20.
Me or her?
25.
No, sass. So I asked for this just to see if you noticed some other things throughout the port area while looking for Fearn.
Well, I got a natural 20, so yeah.
This is something that maybe like you pop your head out from this encounter. One thing I'll say, just generally speaking, this is the strongest you've ever felt your patron's presence. Like, she is, when she's been calm like this and friendly to you, it's been in the past when you two were the only thing helping each other. You were desperate. You were living on the streets in, the old Shallows Gaunt areas. But she's seemingly grown stronger somehow. And it's as you're kind of coming up to the water and looking about the pier as you're floating. First, you're looking for Fearn, but then you kind of realize you're too far out for Fearn to even really be able to notice you, and two amongst the docks. And you kind of just look around and maybe go on your back for a little bit, just enjoying the water one last time before climbing onto the piers that you would notice in the distance on the great basalt rock cliffs of the lighthouse district, where you can see the ruined lighthouse still collapsed over the district. You can see seagulls, flocks all over the area. You can notice little children even on the rooftops. Omar's crew probably throwing seeds and bread at the seagulls. That as your eyes follow the trace, you can see the side of it, where you know there to be the underground caves, where you've killed Captain Hastings, where all of those things happened. There seems to be a new waterfall pouring out from that area. It wasn't there before, emptying out into the bay.
That's new.
You think back to how desperate you wanted to drink that crab water.
Oh no, do I want to drink this waterfall water?
No, you don't right now, but you feel a sense of strength coming from it.
Oh boy. Oh, okay. Maybe later.
Like perhaps your patron's been at work while you've been away.
Interesting. Well, that's an adventure that I'm gonna need some friends for. They'll be interested in that for certain.
Fieran, give me a quick perception check.
Sure. One plus 3 is 4.
Sass, you're able to like literally sneak behind Fieran at one point. Like Fieran comes out to the docks to look for you because he saw you swimming, and you're able to literally just pull yourself up behind him and wet feet slapping the pier, quickly run away.
I sneeze and she says bless you, and I was like, huh?
Exactly. Cool. The only other thing I wanted to do, I don't know if there's like a pawn shop or something, or like a place that's got like just like random shit. Like if you read or watched Hunger Games, they had the Hob that just had like all of those little tiny things that you could like trade for.
Shen, I've got a whole flea market.
Amazing.
That's exactly where this kind of stuff would be.
That's where I'd like to go, because I have things that I'd like to include in the goodie bags, and if to make things easier, I can just message
me. Yeah, just message me what you want, and I'll give you a price.
Great.
Cool. All right. Switching on over to Septimus. You are, I imagine, finishing up your very simple breakfast and your other morning rituals, as you can
Toast and tea.
As you can sneak out for the morning to head over to the Old Brigade District to find your friend Sal. Not Sal, Hal.
Bringing Sal, though.
Yes, I imagined you were bringing him. And you can find him at his tavern. Where's my list of taverns? I always forget this one's name.
I should know it, but...
Oh, here it is. It's in the Old Brigadier Gate District, the Square Horse Bar.
Square Horse Bar.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Okay. So, you know exactly where it is. You know that it's not usually open in the mornings, but they answer for fellows of certain persuasion.
I'll walk down the stairs to the door, and give it a nice little pounding.
Yep. And
phrasing.
I gotta have your mind in the gutter.
I'll say, just for the sake of it, just things that you notice on the streets, because Jaquet's been gallivanting across the taverns. You'll notice some of the other taverns in this area. You got the Golden Quill Tavern and Library that you would notice. It's a stone building with a limestone roof. It's two stories tall. Particularly popular, with a lot of rich tapestries decorating the through the windows. You can see this is clearly a place that's both a tavern establishment, but also a library of sorts. And then you would see Humble Haven, another stone building with a granite roof. Much bigger, 4 stories tall, but looking a little bit more run down, like it doesn't see as much of an atmosphere. Some cracks in the windows, some chipped paint, a place that's seen better days. And then closer to the flea market, you would see a tavern called the Gatehouse Cat, which is half timber tavern with clay tile roofs. Pretty basic, really kind of cheaper tavern that seems like the first one anyone would see if they're coming by land into town, and where you could just very quickly get a stable and a bed. And these are all along like other apartment structures, and you would be able to find, of course, the Square Horse Bar, the basement bar underneath some residential buildings. As you bang on the door,
are there signs on the other bar saying "Sorry, closed tonight"? Going to Harlequin Chalice for Jackie Dute's birthday.
It's tomorrow. We're
tomorrow.
on the 29th right now.
Tomorrow. It is the 29th, yes.
Well, then do they say signs closed tomorrow night?
You don't see any signs at this time in the morning of the 29th, since this is actually, if anything, they are just learning about this party, some of them, as Orin sends out his workers to spread the word.
Sure.
But you bang on the door of the Square Horse Bar, and at first you don't get any kind of answer. It's taking a few moments.
Take a few moments, bang again. Like, Hal, it's Septimus. Are you there?
At this, you would hear some rustling inside of someone clearly like jumping to their feet and cleaning up a little bit. You can hear bottles falling to the ground. You can hear just the sounds of disheveledness as someone starts to stumble to the door, as the front door would open very thinly. And you can see there's even a chain lock on the door, as you would see Hal's face on the other side. Disheveled. His beard is all over the place. His hair is almost matted in some places. Clearly hasn't been taking care of himself. Eyes blistering red with just bags underneath them, and red on the skin all around. Just clearly completely out of it, and overrun with a little bit of just haggardness, as he would just sort of be gritting his teeth as he's sort of has just like this blanket robe over him that he's clutching at the neck as he just looks and sees you. And even though he looks like a feral beast right now, he forces out this toothy smile, almost like he's gritting his teeth, like he's grinding his teeth too much. As he's like, Septimus, Septimus, I don't know. And have you brought Salvador? What about your friend Bruce? Septimus.
How are you? All right, you don't look well at all.
And he kind of like looks around and looks at you as if he completely forgot that you were standing in front of him. And he goes, Septimus, you're back. You're here. Oh, is Salvador with you? Come in. As he'll undo the lock and open the door, and you can see the space is dark and smells of old food and stale booze. There's just sort of thin smoke in the air from burnt out candles, and singed candle holders, with a few just sort of like divots of light coming out from the boards of the ceiling from the floor above, as he stumbles over a bunch of this detritus that has built up over the weeks, and gets behind the bar. He's just sort of like rubbing his head and rubbing his eyes. He's like, oh, Septimus, can I get you anything? There's no one else here. It's just him.
Walking in and just kind of like looking around, like I kind of like know that like somebody's concerned, just kind of like collecting your thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
Seems you had a bit of a rough night last night or two. Hitting the bottle.
You see he's holding a hand up while he's clutching at this robe, just sort of like almost like to stop you from speaking, as he's then puts the back of his palm to his head as he just clears his eyes and opens them wide. I'll admit, I dug into some of the store. Oh, when I ran out of ether. Septimus. I've seen some of the things I've seen. Oh, the Machina speak through it. I'm more sure than ever. I couldn't save you any. I used it all.
When he says ether, would Septimus know what that is?
Yes, because you know that he suggested before you left. The last time he saw you, he said he was going to be getting a shipment of ether from Halcyon in, which you know is the drug used by Machina's Whisper in Halcyon to attempt to hear the spirits of machines.
Kind of looking him up and down with a very disgusted look. How? I am disappointed.
No, you don't understand, Septimus. I need you.
No, you don't understand. This is not how you commune with Machina. This is not how you see. This is not understanding. You're harming yourself, dulling your senses. Machina's about knowledge. And you're crippling yourself with this ether.
No. You would only see if we had more. I heard them. I heard them. That has unlocked my mind, and they have left me without it. And without it, I can no longer hear them. I can no longer hear them. No, Septimus, you don't understand. You're lying to me. You are lying to me.
I'm lying to you? Look at what I have accomplished without touching anything that you're having. Pointing, gesturing to Sal, and then kind of also just pulling back his arm and showing him the new robotic arm that he has. All through faith alone, and not tarnished.
Give me a persuasion roll with advantage.
$10.
Okay. You see Hal, he sort of like leaps forward and grabs onto your robotic arm. You can see now that he's kind of grabbed it with both hands, you can see some of the robes kind of come undone a little. You can see he's looks gaunt as well, like he hasn't been eating in the last few days. He just looks very sickly. A man in the throes of a kind of madness. But as he grabs your arm, you can see his face go from awe quickly to then sorrow, but then swiftly starts to turn into anger, as his hand sort of runs over the smoothness of the exterior of the arm, over some of the intricacies of it, to the hand, where he kind of like almost takes your hand in it, and then he kind of looks up, and he looks up to your shoulder arm, and he looks past. No. Why would they bless you, stranger from nowhere? I've dedicated so many years in this city to them. What? Lies. This is hollow. This is empty. I hear nothing from this. I hear no whispers. I hear nothing. Nothing at all. Hal hears nothing. As he rushes to the end of the bar, and you can see him fiddling with this flask that you can tell is likely his ether, as he's trying to scrape whatever he drops out of it. You can just a man in the throes of sickness and inability to see clearly.
Yeah. Septimus does that, a long breathe in and a sigh. And he says, What a shame. I was hoping that we might come out of the shadows. I was hoping to start something new in this chapter, or in this town, and create a chapter of Machina's Whispers for all to learn, to show everyone that they need not be afraid, and to believe in something higher, in the grace, in the goodness that it could provide. And I thought that you might be the one to help usher that in. But it looks like I might be wrong. The Septimus will begin to turn away and walk out.
And you would hear him fall to his knees behind the bar. And you hear him start to weep. And mutter under his breath things like, Septimus abandoned me like the spirits abandoned me. No, I'll show them. No. And you just hear kind of open weeping from behind the bar.
Septimus will stop for a minute before he leaves, kind of looking down, kind of being that kind of uncomfortableness that you get when somebody's just really down and crying.
Mm-hmm.
He'll look to Sal, and then I'll turn back to look to Hal. I'll take a moment just to thank him, Jack. Just breathe to himself, and just kind of under his breath be like, he's not thinking clearly with the ether. This will turn back around, and I'll slowly approach him, and lay his robotic hand on him, and cast Lesser Restoration. Maybe kind of help him get through this. Like, I guess, addiction.
Yeah.
Maybe have a clear level head.
It seems to take root in him as you place your hand out with that same sort of light that your other divine magics have, and you can see it almost does go over his arm, and you can kind of see even the veins underneath turning the same color as the light as it's moving through, purifying any poisons within him.
And I'll kind of give like a kind of like a flavor of it, where it gives a little prayer, or kind of like, Machina, please help this poor soul. It's dedicated servant to you. He wants to believe. Forgive him of this transgression.
And you can see Hal's face is going from this like emaciated weeping and like truly uncomfortable, snot dripping, like someone with nothing left, to this almost stoic face. It like slowly starts to fade. His mouth stays a little ajar, a little, as tears come down his eyes. He looks to you for a moment and then looks just blankly towards the wall as he kind of slumps back a little bit more and just whispers, just barely so you can hear him, Machina, forgive me. As he would somewhat fall into a lucid state between sleep and wakefulness, as you imagine his body is now catching up to the abuse he's done to it over the last week, and he has just fallen asleep out of exhaustion, as if you casting this has allowed his body to start fighting back and fall to sleep.
I take it he sleeps in the back.
Yeah, you've seen where his room is, so to speak, in the back there.
He would direct Sal to lift him and carry him to his bed and just lay him there, looking over him and just saying, Rest easy. And find your way back to Machina. And I'll speak with you again.
And you can leave him there where he can sleep this off, hopefully, and come back to you with a clear mind. And hopefully returns to Machina spirit. And you can head out from the bar. And easily enough, find yourself a nice Gwenvaleri wine. I'll say you can do either.
So what is something that is known to Gwenvalir, may be rare to get. Something that would be like, oh, Jaquet would probably like that. Oh, so I'm definitely like also just like talking to the person that's there.
Oh yeah.
Clearly not knowing anything really either. Not saying like he could swindle me, but like sometimes you just get an eager person. It's like, oh, you must try this or you must try that.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You have this like really well dressed, not so well dressed to scare off customers who might be here to buy simpler things, but well dressed enough to make someone who's like I'm buying a nice bottle for my aunt to be like, this guy clearly knows what he's talking about. Look at he's got a handkerchief on. He's got a scarf.
Yeah. Exactly.
As this gnome is like walking you through his shop, and he's like, Gwenvaleri, you say? Well, we have quite a few vintages from overseas. If you're looking for a wine, we have some lovely, lovely, lovely wines from the northern region of Gwenvalir, the Elysian Vale. The Elysian Vale. We have two kinds of wine from that region. We have this lovely, lovely little bottle, as he pulls out this, like, it is a nice bottle. It has, like, some decorative frills to it that make it look a little bit cooler. It's a red, and he goes, this, my friend, is none other than and he does like look at it really quickly, like he needs to make sure he knows what it is. This is a fine vintage of a nether rockberry wine. It's it's got a bit of some cherry notes, some earthiness. Some say it is actually a little savory, but also I know it's not common these days, but you got yourself a case of that pallid rot. It'll get rid of it right away. We also hear that it's just good for your gut, and it tastes real good, and it'll get you there. Now this is it is an import, but it's a little bit more affordable. Given the quantity of those things, right? It needs to be shipped specially to make sure none of the pollen or whatever they grow with gets over here, because I don't know if you need to know, but it's an invasive species all across Aldhalor. But it's tasty. And then here we've got ourselves a nice vintage from the sunny shores of Byzantium. Pride of the Empire. Very, very delicious stuff. It's great for a summer's day, but also not too terrible to have on these little bit colder, chillier evenings when we're awaiting the long dark, when it's still warm enough to go outside, but not too cold to be afraid of the dark. This, my friend, a little bit nicer. That's what we have for wines from Gwenvalir. Now we can get over here and get into the skis. And we can also get into some of the gins if you want. There's actually, interestingly enough, a lot of alcohol that gets exported from Gwenvalir.
Oh.
But yeah.
I'm trying to think, damn, I wish I would remembered before I even asked what his favorite drink of choice would be. I'm not particular myself.
Oh, tell me a little bit about him.
Well, listen, I'll say no. I'm talking about my friend that I'm getting this for. I have seen him drink wine and whiskey, so I think those are my best two options.
All right. Well, if you want to get him something a little fancier, you can get this Byzantium vintage, or if you want something a little.
Let me see the whiskey.
Okay. All right. And he'll take out a whole bunch of skis, and he'll be like, "This one, I'll say for myself, my favorite, Tressian ski. They use a very particular process. There's a lot of peatiness to it. It's got a little smokiness to it. Really good if they really like something a little smoky, a little more funk to it. But if you want something a little bit sweeter, we can walk our way on up to to some of those northern territories of the Trinwald Valley. Go to Taramran, right? Wood elves. They make whiskey. Who'd have thought? But they use very special barrels that have never been cut and hewn. They've been shaped by the trees. So it imparts a little bit more of an interesting flavor to it. A little sizzle, one might say. A little pop. Little fey magic, but not that rotten stuff from the sky, the good old-fashioned stuff, you know. It'll give a little bit more of a zing, if you know what I mean.
Okay.
Would you like to try a sample?
Oh, I don't partake myself.
Okay. I mean, I do have some nice product over here for teetotalers like yourself. But looks like you're mainly here for a gift. So would you like the ski? And which one? Or would you like the wine? And which one?
I think I'll take the whiskey and that poppy one that you said, the one that.
Yes. The Taramran. The Taramran. What do they call it there? Bourbon. The Taramran bourbon. You got it. All right. Would you like this gift wrapped?
Please. That'd be fantastic.
All right. Good find, sir. That will just run you back 25 silver.
Okay, here you are, my good man.
And he
Thank
really
you
like...
Honestly, thank you for the recommendations, because I have no idea what the hell I'm doing.
You see, he waves a wand that he has in his belt, and he just sort of waves it, and immediately 2 sheets of wrapping paper come over, and he's like, "Would you like black and gold, or would you prefer this pink and blue?"
Septimus response is like, yes, the pink and blue.
Pink and blue, you got it. We usually reserve these for, like gender reveals, but anyway, he wraps it up. He waves the wand, and it just wraps it up. No, there's not a trend of gender reveals that are actually happening in Aldhalor.
But it's specifically ones that are selling alcohol. That's the kind of gender reveal party I want to go to.
Yep.
That's why those mercenaries regarding the facility. There actually wasn't an attack on it. There was just a gender reveal party and a rogue firework. Just
it went wrong.
And...
Yep. But he wraps it up with the wand and hands it over to you and bids you adieu.
I do.
Okay.
And that'll be for me.
All right. Okay. So, Sass, I will get you some prices for your little bags. You want 20 of each of these?
Yeah, because they have to fill 20 bags.
Okay. And Clay, you don't have to be specific, but when you say nice, do you mean of really good quality, or something that Fionn would think is nice?
I would say probably really good quality, but also unrefined, let's say.
Okay. No problem. All right, but while some of you complete your shopping for the morning, or at some point during the day, we can bring everyone back, though, at the Harlequin Chalice. When you all come back down to the main floor to reconvene, whether it's those of you who might be waking up just now and having breakfast, or those of you who got an early start returning, there are plenty of folks hard at work in this space. You can see Orin is kind of like directing people all over the place. You can see there is a probably a tiefling woman in her 30s who is kind of looks to be his right-hand man, as he's having her kind of like, she has like a little clipboard with some paper on it and checking things off as he's moving about. Those of you who've been here before would know this is Perry, sort of his second in command here. He's the general manager. She's the assistant to the general manager. Although you all know that he doesn't actually own this bar as much as he might seem like the owner. The mysterious Mr. KR owns this bar, as far as some of you know. But he also has a backseat woman who looks younger, probably in her early 20s, who is just one of the typical waiters here. Some of you would know her as Nara, who is just also going about helping. The rest of the waiters are all unnamed NPCs. Until they are named. But anyway, they are all moving chairs around, tables around. The second Orin would see you, Jaquet, he'd be like, "Oh, Mr. Touche, I was wondering what kind of configurations you was thinking about for this room. Were you thinking of having yourself a nice head table and a little bit of a dais on the stage? Or are we thinking U-shaped squares, traditional tavern style still?"
Oh, no, nothing special. I imagine it'll be a lot of, wandering and mingling, The general configuration is good. As I said, I'll be starting with a little show as Jackie, and then we'll launch into the festivities properly.
All right. Perry! And you see she's just like standing right next to him, and he yelled like right in her face. She's like, "Yeah, yes, Orin? Oh, sorry. Cafeteria style. You know how to do it." As she runs over to Nara and the other waiters, and they start dragging tables into an arrangement that has them essentially in like long rows, so people would sit all together, but also have space to wander around.
Can I sit at the end of one of these tables with all my shit and just start putting the bags together?
Yeah, there's like a point when you're sitting at one of these tables that they just start like dragging it while you're sitting at it, and your stuff all disappears down the way.
I was a fucking dud. Can you give me a little warning? I've got a system.
And you see there's this dwarf who is dragging his. Missus, we're working here. Can you not see that we're moving the tables around?
Yeah, so am I. I'm parts of this planning thing. I'm
well, then drag your chair along.
All right. A little warning would be nice. Thank you. Fuck.
So Sass is at the end of one of these long rows of tables working on her goodie bags. Jaquet, you can sit down near her, and everyone can kind of gather together if they'd like. As Septimus would walk back in from his shopping, and Fionn would return from his exercise and potential shopping as well. Bruce, is there anything? Oh, Bruce is concocting. That's right. Bruce, you're definitely able to do that. What you sent me, I of course have no problem with that.
Okay.
So you have a moment together at this point. Is there anything you'd like to talk about, or anything you'd like to plan for this day, or are we just going to have everyone kind of relaxing for the day until the party the next night?
Yeah, Jaquet would be with Robespierre, filling out small little invites, like kind of personalized ones that are like, "Come to Jaquet Touchard's birthday party at the Harlequin Chalice, 8 p.m. on the 30th of Ilsavala." And then he's going to basically hire like a courier, and he's going to send them to all the professors at the at the academy. So we've got like Sidgul,
all the ones
Bronin.
you've met essentially.
Yeah.
So I've got Aoife, Bronin, Prina, Silrin, Sigil, of course. There's Cadmus. You inviting Cadmus?
No,
I.
Oh, there
Hi.
he is. Hi again. Don't leave.
Essahiven.
Don't no. I was gonna say, don't say the name.
Yeah.
Internet. Speeds are all normal. Great. So hopefully we do not get disrupted again by Fox Internet. Last time I had an issue, they said they were going to send someone out, and they just didn't.
Oh man.
So I like my internet service provider. Good thing there's no one else in my area. Regional monopolies. Anyway. So I'm imagining you're inviting all the deans and the individual professors you've met since.
Except for Essahiven.
Okay.
And then he's also going to address one to Winifred, just to make sure that she gets it, and should write this down on a separate note. And Kellen.
Okay.
and then would just hire some courier service to go take it out for him.
Okay. So that's no problem.
So,
Easy enough to do.
Jaquet, you know, if this party's gonna be big and everything, do you have like plans and stuff? Like, typically when there was an important, event, back when my tribe, the tribe leader would show up and say some words and stuff to, get everybody excited. Like, is there anybody important that you would want to, maybe introduce you to the stage or?
Yeah, myself.
Well, like maybe you would want the Commodore to do it, just to give us.
No, I'm not going to trust anything to that bitch. She'll probably go up there and be like, oh, this guy's temperamental, and I don't trust him to be the leader of Iron and Mana, so I'm gonna deal with Septimus. No offense, Septimus.
Well, if
Feel a
you
little
want
hurt
somebody
by
just
that,
a
huh?
little bit more trustworthy, I mean, I might have wrote a little something down.
Oh, honey. No. Absolutely not.
All right, maybe I'll just save it for a toast then. No problem. After the show.
Jaquet is just eyeing Fear now, like trying to size him up to be like, okay, what could Fear possibly have written down that would equate to a introduction or a toast?
Oh, that's lovely, Fear. Do you want me to look at it and give you some suggestions before you do it? Maybe practice it so you don't go into doing it cold.
No, I think I got this, but if you want to take
Okay.
a look, I just hand her the sheet of paper. I'll send it to you.
Yeah.
Oh, she just wants to be a part of it. That's all it is. She's not gonna help you. And now he's glaring at Saskia.
I mean, do you want to
excuse
look
me?
at it, Jaquet?
Do not sass the maker of your party goodie bags because they're fucking awesome. I won't save one for you.
That doesn't.
You're on thin ice, birthday
I think
boy.
I did a pretty good job, is all I'm saying. It's nice.
Well, anyways, I'll.
Hey,
Is it-
also, Jaquet, what's your favorite flavor of dessert?
My favorite flavor of dessert?
Like chocolate, vanilla.
I'd say I'm a chocolate guy.
Oh, you're pretty basic. Okay, all right.
I'm sorry, what's that supposed to mean?
Well, there's so many other exquisite flavors that exist, and I just thought you would choose like raspberry,
Well, okay,
pineapple.
I'm sorry. My favorite cake, that would be a dark chocolate with raspberry tarts and a sprinkling of Avenirian. No.
Just chocolate. Okay.
with a lemon cello crust.
All right, that's a
Bastard.
step above than what I thought. All right.
Chocolate raspberry tart cake with limoncello crust.
Mm-hmm.
Decadent.
You know how they make them back in Domuzerum. It's a classic, truly.
All right.
Okay. So, with this little bit of a debate about what is going to happen at this party, you all can spend your next day and a half doing whatever you wish for prepare for Jaquet's birthday. You'll have time to do other things if there's little things you want to do here and there. But for the most part, I think what we're going to do is take a little break and then get to the party. That sounds good to everyone. All right,
Cool.
let's jump to a short break, and we'll be back, and I can check my internet.
Yay.
See you all soon. Welcome back to Adrift and Aldhalor, our weekly actual play show. Our heroes are preparing for a birthday party for one 27-year-old tabaxi. or soon to be 27-year-old Tabaxi. So
What is
they've
that in
been-
cat years?
We've already
That's not.
made this
It's not
joke.
how it works.
In Tabaxi years, it's 27. This is where you find out that Jaquet's actually like 10 years old.
That's why he always acts like a child, because he is a child.
Good thing none of us fell in love with him.
So anyway, they have kind of the time to themselves to prepare. Some of them are out buying gifts, perhaps, or other goodies. Others are helping prepare for the party or crafting things for the party. Before we jump to the evening of the 30th, is there anything else anyone would like to do in preparation? Jackie.
So, Jaquet Touchard on the night, the 1st of the 29th, he's going to slink off after dusk. And he's going to go to his usual... Actually, I guess he hasn't gone back there yet. So he'll go now, bringing his disguise with him to the abandoned building that he had taken as his safe house. Change into his La Rue get up and go meet up with the De Leon brothers.
Okay. Not a problem at all. You can find that your abandoned house that you're building or that you have your store in is not been touched. Everything is as you left it. And you can take on the persona of LaRue and head to Crass Alley and head up to Butcher's Block at their shop. This evening, you find the two brothers sitting on their porch in their rocking chairs, just smoking. One, Alberto, the more businesslike, smoking his pipe, while Andres chews on what's left of a cigar as you approach to the edge of their little fence. They give you a little nod for you to come on by. Have you... I guess this is a question for Jaquet. Were the De Leon brothers invited?
He did not personally send them an invite, but I'm sure. I mean, I don't know. That would be kind of up to Oren and whether or not his flyers got out this far.
Yeah. So as you approach, I was asking in case like they should be reacting as if they got a personal invite. As you're approaching, there's a very funny thing that's happening right now because, as far as they're concerned, you are LaRue. Jaquet is your former employer.
Right.
So Alberto sort of snickers as you approach. As Andres just sort of gives him a nudge on the arm and just looks at you and goes, we heard that, what were the words you used for him? I don't remember if you called him an idiot or if you... Well, anyway, that Gwen Valeri cat, your former employer, Jaquet Touchard's got a birthday coming up.
LaRue just grunts back in acknowledgement.
Pretty flagrant of him, putting his face out there. His runners going all over town, inviting every which person. Curious. Guess he's making a name for himself here. Still have hostile feelings towards him?
I'd rather not see that Tabaxi again. Else I decide to put a bolt between his eyes. Not because he did anything wrong, just because I really don't like him.
Well, what are you here for, friend?
I was wondering if I could take a look at your selection of poisons on this fine evening.
Oh. And Andres sort of gives a little grin, exposing his gold fang, and bites down on the cigars. He just looks over to Alberto as if, like, this is your game. And Alberto looks up from his book that he was reading, takes his pipe out of his mouth, and goes, I think we could do that for you. Come on in. What sort of variety are you looking for? Inhalants, ingestibles, injury, contact?
I'm looking for 2 things. One of them truth serums, you know. I need information, and I need to make sure I'm getting the right stuff.
Oh, well, we can certainly help supply you with that. And what else?
If I could do 2 doses of that, and then 2 doses of an inhalant. I think they call it an essence of ether. Something
Essence
to
of
knock
ether.
someone out cold for a while.
Yeah, we don't usually give these out lightly, but given you've been doing a lot of work with us, I think we can come to an arrangement. 2 doses truth serum, and 1 of essence of ether. Oh, you're looking at 300 silver pieces for that truth serum, friend. And another 300 silver pieces for the ether.
Sounds like a deal.
Now, because there's a bunch of these sickos going around, I have to let you know that this is not the ether from Halcyon.
I heard of those, what do they call themselves? Machine whisperers?
I call them sickos. Just a bunch of addicts hoping for their next hallucinations of something beyond the dirty streets they live in. Not a much concern of ours unless they're buying it from us.
I'm sure you can make a pretty copper. Or this is Stefan trying to think of a C word to go with copper that is of the, an adjective that's like pretty. Pretty copper. Sell that stuff to a bunch of addicts. Especially if it was a little watered down.
It's hard to find a market for it so far from Halcyon. But ever since certain people walking around town, there's been some different sympathies. But that's not for your concern. Anything else you'd like?
Just like clinking on the glass of like the truth serum to like check it or whatever. He's like, no, I think I'm good. And then tucking it inside his trench coat, Jaquet, as LaRue goes. And I hope to be back in contact soon with you gentlemen. It's been a while, and I need to stretch my legs in these dark alleys once again.
That's right. You keep disappearing on us for long strings of time, Mr. LaRue.
I'll go where the business takes me.
Interesting. Yeah.
I was up at that, what do you call it? Stony Heath?
Oh, charming place, really. But yeah, no. There's some trouble around town that might be useful to get your hands on. We'll talk to you soon, but for now, be careful with these poisons. They are easy to fumble and hard to make. Speaking as the brewer himself, it takes a lot to make these things, so careful.
That's why I leave it up to the clever minds such as yourself. I just know how to use them. And as he starts to walk out, passing Andres, he'll kind of like nod to the poster and go, You boys aren't actually thinking about going to that stupid thing, are you?
As he just sort of bites down on the cigar, and it's like not even like producing smoke anymore, as he just coughs up half a lung for a moment, laughing through his coughs. Oh, for that. No, we don't go to celebrities' birthday parties. But I wouldn't be, if you hear about it tomorrow morning, there might be little surprises here and there for that old cat.
Good. Something keep him on his toes.
Yeah, a couple friends of his did some. He's. Nah, not your business.
Sorry, bud. Sorry.
You're good. You're good, cat. You're good, kid. Well.
And at this, LaRue kind of cocks his head and goes, "Sorry, I'm a little curious now. I wanted to dream about something, and thinking about that ass wipe getting something thrown back in his face. You know what's going on?"
What's that?
No, I'm asking what's.
Oh.
Like,
He
alluded like
sorry.
something was going to happen, and LaRue's playing it off like, I don't care, but it would be fun to dream about.
Give me a persuasion roll.
Nope, that was performance, but it's the same. 31.
31, okay. Just seeing how much higher you can get than your baseline.
Sure.
He kind of looks, and he, after like catching his own, like, might be oversharing, he'll look back at you and just say, well, not a lot of things stay secrets long in this town. And, well, that friend of yours you brought around, don't know how close you are to him, but he's one of the close associates with this Jackie Touche. And they have a bunch of other close associates. And I hold nothing against you because we sold it to you. And you gave it to this guy for whatever deal you made. So it was just business. But we weren't huge fans of the way they went about talking with our friend. And there's been some whispers about them working with the harbor master. It's affected our business. So a message. Well, we might be sending one. So just think about one of those bougie domuserum cats in their high society. Gold bangles all over the place, silver cups, throwing parties in their own name. It's a little gift that ruins the party.
Good. Asswipe doesn't deserve a good party. Wish I could be there to see the smoke go off myself as he starts to leave.
Well, we'll see you soon, LaRue. A lot of work to do. And you just hear as he starts chopping something up at the butcher's block.
Oh boy, Jaquet says this when he's out of ear shot of them. But not actually.
Yeah.
Or maybe he does.
Okay.
Definitely thinks it.
Definitely thinks it, yeah.
He's gonna go back to the agency.
Okay. And everyone wakes up the next morning, and we've got the morning leading up to Jaquet's party. Sass, I imagine you're finishing up all your goodie bags. Maybe doing a little wrapping. As I'll say,
Actually, I want to give Jaquet his present before the party.
okay.
So I'll wait for him to come downstairs, and I'll just be waiting for him with my I'll have like a large like a
What do you think? A satchel?
yeah,
Sachet?
I'll have a no, like it's a
Party bag?
drawstring. Yeah.
Yeah, drawstring set.
It's not like the one you put on your back, but like
Not a knapsack.
No, just like
No.
like the Amazon gift bags that they you send when you do
A nice
gifts, I think.
drawstring gift bag.
Thank you. I'll have that, and then I'll have the little goodie bags all
Well, you know,
set
it'll
in-
probably actually come with a nice one.
Okay.
Like that's like probably made of like leather and is meant to hold this
carry
thing
it.
and carry it, and for like travel purposes to keep it safe.
Perfect.
So yeah.
Great. So I'll have that, and then I'll have my 4 rows of 5 all neatly arranged, the little goodie bags. And I'm just sitting with my feet up next to it all, waiting for Jaquet to come downstairs.
Okay. So you would find Oren is up bright and early checking all of the supplies. You can see they have several kegs of ale. They have extra bottles just in case. You see he has these little like he's made several different little tickets to hand out at the door for people to have their one free drink on Jaquet.
Thought it was a raffle.
Nope, no raffle.
No raffle.
And they're just generally preparing things. They're putting up streamers. They're putting up all bunch of stuff.
I'll have my mage hand help with the streamer.
They've got they've ordered like little trinkets to have different like lights going off in the rooms, that it's not all just lit by the electrical lights. The space is looking nice. It's gonna look really good. There's centerpieces on the tables that
Wow.
Oren has either made himself or one of his assistant has made. They don't look great. I won't say they're like beautiful, but they are filled with character.
Amazing.
They have a very good tavern feel to them all.
Perfect.
But yeah, you can be sitting there waiting, and Jaquet, whenever you come down or come by.
Yeah, I imagine he comes down, in the mid to late morning. He's just like, this is gonna be such a pain in the ass.
Hey, there you are. Happy birthday.
Ah, yes,
Happy
thank you.
Yeah.
Oh, you're all here. How fantastic.
I actually wanted to give you your present before the party, just in case it was something you might want to wear to the party. You don't have to. Have to.
The look on his face went from like beaming, like super excited, to like a concerned, worried look.
Yeah.
Like okay.
Yeah. Here. And I just shoved the very nice hat bag towards you.
Oh, are we doing gifts now?
We don't have to. I just wanted to do mine now because I'm very excited, and if I waited anymore, I was just gonna blurt out and tell you. So I just needed to. Here, open it.
No, I think it might be the right idea. Like, you could go first, but I'll give you my gift as well, unless you want to save it for later.
Jaquet, the leather bag that she gives to you is sort of like it has a drawstring at the top, but it's somewhat firm to hold what's in it. And you can see there is on the leather of it, which is this you can tell, Jaquet, this is a nice leather. There is they're marketing for it as they've branded the logo of the company onto the actual leather that the gift comes in. Which just says, Mrs. Brass Drops Luxury Style.
Mrs. Brastrop's luxury style. I did a bit of shopping in the Admiralty Court yesterday.
Wow, you went up to the
Yeah.
A-Court for me.
A-Court. Of course I did. I know you deserve, or just covet, the finest. Jaquet. Open it.
Okay. And he opens the bag.
What's inside is it is a beautifully made, very wide brimmed hat, kind of like one side is folded up and secured with a gorgeous like emerald brooch, and then around like the hat part where that goes on your head, I don't know what that's called, there's like an aqua like silk sash that like is sitting against the rich brown leather of this hat, and it's got a in that little like side that's folded up, it's got this huge plume of purple and white feathers, and then the biggest feather of all of those is this huge gorgeous peacock feather that just like the centerpiece of that like bouquet of flowers, and like all on the hat, kind of like a, I don't know exactly how to describe it, but like a, when it catches the light you can see it, and when it's not in the light you can't see it, like a decal, there's like this gold pattern like shimmering like just all over the
Almost
the
like
brim.
holographic,
Yeah.
An opalescent, if you will.
Yes.
but with a gold
opalescent.
shine to it.
Yes. Like a very faint decal. You can only see
Velvety?
it when the light is shining on it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And the last thing is there's like a gold embroidered trim all around the wide brim of the hat. It's very ornate, very expensive looking, and very fancy.
And I'll add on to this, just a custom of Mrs. Brasstrop is to, if it's a gift, to brand part of the hat under the rim or under the brim with just the initials of the person that's purchased for it. So there's a JT branded in there.
JT of I and M. What you think?
Celestial's above Saskia. I have to say, out of everything I was expecting, this tops them all. Which is probably one of the closest things to a compliment Jaquet has ever given her.
Yep.
Instead of it being negative, he changed it to a positive at the last minute. As he's like, I am genuinely speechless. As a mage hand reaches out and puts it onto his head and, snugs it on. As he's like,
there are holes for your ears.
Yeah, Jaquet, you can tell just from putting this on that whoever she went to, this Mrs. Brasstrop, is a real artisan. Like knew how to fit it for a tabaxi head. Took Sass's like the best Sass could come up with on measurements of your head, and found a way to get it to fit perfectly. Like this is a hat
this big, like the size of a watermelon.
Like this hat,
a large boulder. Yeah.
Yeah, this is certainly a hat that's cost comes into the gold territory.
Fearn thinks back of one night on the road when he saw what do you call it, Sass holding up bolt rocks next to his head while he's sleeping, and it's like, oh, that's what she was doing.
So, like I said, you don't have to wear it tonight. I know it's for me it's a bit much, but I thought it was perfect for you.
He kind of like flaps the feather a little bit and he goes, I think Jackie Touche just got an upgrade. He says to the others, like,
So you are going by that now.
I don't think I have a choice when it comes to my stage name, or an iron that in the stars.
Well, it's quite fitting for your personality.
Sass looks so pleased with herself and just so happy that you liked it.
Does it have a lot of glitter on it? Can't really.
Well, let me describe it to you. It is a beautifully made high-brimmed hat, as he explains it.
Oh, fuck, sorry. Sorry,
Wow.
Bruce.
Fearon's just
Or
like
actually, and he
looking at-
takes it down and he puts it in front of Bruce to like feel it. He goes, "See, this one's the peacock feather. You can almost
Bruce is,
maybe
like,
make out the
flicking parts of
colors."
it, you know.
Yeah.
All right.
Sturdy.
It's a good material.
Well, if we're doing presents now, Septimus,
Oh, you
arm-
don't have to.
His robotic arm comes back, reaches down into the backpack, and just pulls out the blue and pink wrapping paper and puts it on the table down in front of Jackie, and Septimus goes, "Happy birthday."
Oh, well, Septimus, thank you so much. As he takes a claw and carefully cuts the wrapping so it all unfolds at once. And he goes, "Oh, do mine eyes deceive me? Is that a Gwenvalorian ski?"
The shopkeep said it was one of his favorites and recommended it for somebody that was from the continent. So I hope it's something that you like.
Septimus, this is nice ski. He kind of holds it to him and is like, "Thank you. I did not. Thank you.
Enjoy it.
We will." He says as he gestures back and. Oh well, I guess if you want to try some, it is really good stuff.
I'm just
Yeah.
glad that I picked the right bottle. I was a little unsure, but I'll take your word for it.
The name of the Wood Elf bourbon is and this is like a nice contemporary bourbon of Gwenvalier, enjoyed by new gen Wood Elves, and it's very trendy across the continent for rich kids. It's just called Bogwater. And
Nice.
and it is actually very nice.
Fearn, as he was opening all the other presents and like gauging his reactions, is starting to look a little nervous. And he's like, I guess it's my turn. I hope you like it. And he pulls out a large wooden crate, probably like half of Bruce's size, and like slams it on the table and hands you a crowbar.
I'm not.
Go ahead, pop it open.
It
You want me to
shakes.
do it?
No, I'm just kidding.
And he jams it in and pops the top off.
So what you see inside is a very thick, dense fur lining that's like, it looks like the entire crate is filled with furs. And it's very well neatly trimmed inside, like folded up perfectly, but you can tell that it's like unrefined, like it hasn't been turned into like a cloak or anything like that. You could still see kind of like the shape of the animal, and it looks like it was a large creature, very thin, and, like long and thin, but still sleek, and there's a slight silveriness, like reflection in the black fur. And it's very dense and like probably the softest thing you've ever felt in your life. And Fearn goes on and he says, I got this from a hunter that was up in the mountains near Stony Heath. They say it's from a rare breed of dire mink. They call it the bird catcher. Kind of reminded me of when we used to catch some birds. And he reaches into the crate and pulls out from the bottom. At the bottom of the crate, there's claws and even canines of the creature that were just like at the bottom, as like an extra thing. And he says, "We have these curved fish hook shaped canines that they use to latch onto birds and drag them to the ground. I thought that the fur was soft."
Jaquet like takes it out and he like spreads out the pelt, and his hand glides over and he's like, Fjern, this may be one of the nicest belts I've ever seen. And he like kind of like puts it on himself, and he's like, oh, this will make a beautiful cloak for the coming long winter, or long dark.
Either one's fine.
Okay. And then he looks down at the canines and he's like, I've been mulling over some ideas for some we'll call them utility bolts. As he looks over at Bruce and he goes, these would be perfect for a nice like grappling or some kind of like, hook into something, I don't know, like a fishing pole or attached to it. Barbs, yes.
That's a great idea.
Nice barbs.
I'll think about that for a new design. Jaquet, I got something for you too.
Oh, okay.
And it's not wrapped.
Before Jaquet does like pat Fjern on like the shoulder as like, and you can feel some genuine gratitude emanating from his little beans. He has normal hands. They're not cat paws.
Check the art.
I thought it was a that One Piece guy. Somebody in the comments knows what I'm talking about. Kuma. Kuma's got the beans on his regular human hands.
Yeah.
Bartholomew.
Sorry. Yep.
Bruce.
Yeah, I got you a little something. And Bruce just kind of slides this like brown paper bag in front of Jaquet.
Got some grease stains on it.
Well, presentation was never your strong suit, but that's okay, he says as he opens the bag.
Now, of course, this is up for DM approval. I'm not too sure if it works completely yet. But Jaquet will pull out it's a gold bracelet with a really, really fine, almost invisible string tied to a gold coin.
Ooh.
Yeah, so if you, the way it's supposed to work is that if you move this gold coin really fast, it shouldn't be visible to the eye. So if you put on the bracelet, all right?
He does.
And then you throw the coin in a direction, shouldn't be visible. You see that? No, you didn't.
Okay.
Now, can you see where it landed?
It's over by the table, and I imagine like, one of the wait staff is like going over like, what?
Right.
Mr. Touchard, you dropped a coin, and he goes, pulls it back.
Did you see that?
Catches it. No, I guess I didn't see the string.
No, not at all. They're not just making this up right now.
Yeah, in case you ever need to steal from vending machines.
Yeah, pretty much.
Or fake tip.
Distract a guard.
Mm-hmm.
Or throw it around my head like a lasso. And what's the tensile strength of this string? Oh, I broke it.
Oh, damn it. There goes that magic item.
But yes, you now have essentially
point on a bracelet.
Yeah.
Bracelet.
It's nice. It's a nice bracelet, but you have a coin on a bracelet. Yes. A poor man's what's that dunamancy spell? A poor man's wrist pocket.
Yeah.
Well, it's definitely a you present.
Yeah.
Is that real gold?
Yeah, I had to use one of my gold coins.
I think he means the bracelet.
Oh yeah. No, that's not real gold. It's
He
just
taps on it. Oh yeah, no, that's an alloy. Just paint it over.
I don't know. I don't know what you like.
Hmm.
And Jaquet just holds up his arms, and you see all the gold jewelry that the bracelet does, to a degree match in, but it's like that off gold where like anyone with like,
Yeah.
a passive investigation of like
Yeah.
15 is like, oh, that's not real gold. I'm not gonna swipe that.
Yeah, like you wouldn't wear it to a party back home.
Right. A party at the Harlequin Chalice.
Maybe the party has vending machines.
Well, I appreciate the thought. Regardless, all of you, truly, I don't know if I've ever gotten such thoughtful gifts before.
You're welcome.
Yep.
Well, anyways, he says, taking off the hat to put it down so it doesn't get damaged.
Of course.
I have some news to share with you all if you want to sit. He says that he sits down at the table and steeples his hands. So I was off last night, getting some information about what's been going on in town, and, come to find out that, remember when we went to go meet that mask guy with Fjern? Sam, I believe his name was?
Aye.
Well, Sam and his contacts, the De Leon brothers, he says, kind of saying to Fjern, were none too pleased with how that interaction went down, and apparently a surprise is being planned for us all tonight at the party.
What kind of surprise?
Not
Like
the good
balloons and
kind.
shit?
No. I don't necessarily think that it'll be an all-out assault of sorts, but I will say that we should be on the lookout for something nefarious.
Are we looking
Right.
for people? Are we looking for? I don't know.
Do
Something
you think
in
they
a
would
dream?
come here themselves?
I don't think the De Leon brothers would, but potentially Sam and his crew. But at least someone will be coming with something to make our night not so fun.
Like laxatives in the beer, or like?
Oh, I hope not. That would ruin the mood. I assumed it would be a little more. It wouldn't be
Violent?
underhanded. Maybe violent, or at least cause a commotion, disrupt the evening of some kind.
We could maybe see if some of the bouncers over near fight night could possibly run some security for us.
It might not be a bad idea. I want it to
Thought
be a
I'd
little
do it.
undercover, because I'd rather that those powers that be don't know that we know, if you catch my drift, right? So we don't want it to seem like we're aware of what's going on, but we want to still keep our eyes open, yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Trying to remember the two gentlemen that were with Sam.
There's three. There was
Three,
the
my mistake.
Elysian twins and the Wood Elf.
Right.
The big guy.
right.
And maybe here's your chance to take him down.
Possibly.
Well, we'll wait till he clearly is doing something in the wrong. Don't just go out and attack him.
Could be
Well,
fun.
yeah, I mean, I'd prefer to fight him in the ring anyway, but if he's gonna ruin your birthday, I'll smash his face in.
I appreciate that, Fjern. Thank you. So I just wanted to put that on everyone's radar and keep an eye out. If we see anything suspicious, or if we see any of those individuals, we should assume that something is up.
Right.
All right.
We'll keep an eye out.
Well,
But don't let that distract. I want everyone to have a good time tonight, right? And remember, we're all members of Iron and Mana. So any kind of new work, or, any way to talk us up, I'll be talking about some of our exploits on the stage. So if anyone asks, make sure to make it sound really good.
On the last business cards that you gave me, Fear, and they're all in these goodie bags. They're ready to go. So.
Okay, great. So do we just give those out to everyone, or?
Yeah, at the end of the night, as they're leaving, I'll just stand by the door, and I'll just one per party though.
How many goodie bags does she have prepared?
20.
Saskia, I think much more than 20 people will be here.
Oh, do you think they'll come together in groups? And I could say like one per group.
No, what do you even have in those things anyway?
Oh, let me show you. I just take one from my perfect rows that are there, and I carefully undo it, and I show you. Inside, there's a business card, a bunch of seashells and sea glass, some buttons, random keys, a silver piece, spools of thread,
Just money.
Some random chess pieces, and some broken dice. Because that's your favorite game. You like that. The hazard is what you said. So I had to put some dice in there so they could play their own game. Also, I don't know if you noticed,
that dice
but the
doesn't
bags
have any pips on it.
so
It's just a
draw
cube.
It's okay. I had to work with what I had. They can draw their own on there, and they can cheat if they want to. But I don't know if you noticed, Jaquet, but the bags they're kind of gold, like you said, like that's your favorite color. So I tried to. They don't all match, but I got as many as I could.
You can tell that she spent the most money on the bags.
Well, I'm sure whoever ends up with these will. And he looks to the other three.
Yes.
Appreciate the thought.
You see walking by, holding on to something under a tarp that looks to be, maybe 6 feet long, that Oren has over a shoulder with Perry at the front holding it. And he just looks over and he's like, "Oh, Sat, those are lovely. You should give them out to the VIPs at the meet and greet."
Oh, perfect. Yeah, perfect. Yes, Oren, thank you. I will do just that.
All right, Mr. Touche, and he slaps this big thing he has. I got myself a little surprise for you as well.
Oh, boy.
For the moment of the evening.
Oh, well, butter my buns and call me a biscuit. I can't wait to see.
Yeah, that's right. This one, and he winks at you. I won't put it on your tab. This one's on me.
Sean, what is it?
I'm gonna message you.
You can also message you.
Yeah, I'm gonna message you.
That took me a little too long to get, but amazing.
Well, I guess all that's left now to do is wait for whatever chaos ensues on this evening. But it'll be fun, exciting chaos.
We shall revel in it.
That works.
It will be a great evening.
And with these
Hi.
comments of affirmation, we will skip ahead to this evening. As you all,
I have one thing I want to say quickly before
Okay.
the party starts. Actually,
Okay.
there's something I wanted to. It'll be very quick.
Yep.
If I'm correct, it's 20 silver for gold.
Yes,
Gold
yes.
piece, and then how many gold pieces for a platinum piece?
That is the regular 10.
So it's 200 silver for a platinum piece.
Yes.
Is there like a bank or somewhere I can go
Mhm.
exchange for a platinum
Yep.
piece?
Yep, there's an exchange guild in the port that you can exchange money for.
During that time, I would like to exchange 200 silver pieces for a platinum piece.
Wow. Septimus really rolling.
There's a 10 silver service charge.
Of course there is.
But I have an account at this
But
bank.
that's fine.
I'm a
Whatever.
member.
Yeah.
Okay, so you acquire yourself a platinum piece.
Yes.
Okay.
And I'll wait till like just about like I'll actually wait till after the party starts.
Okay, cool. Do any of you get dressed up for this? Do you wear your party gowns from the academy party?
Yeah.
Or something different?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And Bruce arms all his traps and
Put that
explosives
little bow tie on Sal.
corners of the.
Yes. Little bow tie. Maybe the little like flat white piece of a tuxedo.
Yes, and the cummerbund to hold it down so it doesn't flap up.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Okay, so we get closer and closer to the party. 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 7:30.
Around 7 o'clock, Fionn would wait outside, pretending to be a bouncer, but just letting everyone in.
Yeah, you start to see like the first guests arriving are not the like A list of the guests. It's people who are just sort of like, I heard something's going on there. Let's just check it out. You see they start letting these people in at like 7:15, 7:20, where Fionn might be outside and Orin just gives him a little nod to let them in. And people just start to come in. Orin has arranged for some music when Jaquet is not trying to perform. So there's actually a very lovely band of bards that are playing a variety of music as well. Some gentle jaunts, stuff to get people warmed up in this cocktail hour-esque part of the night. But also have a variety of strange instruments that might be from Halcyon or beyond, where they can play more than just sort of the typical acoustic bard playthroughs. You see they have some brass instruments, actually, to get into a little bit of what's known as the gnomish jazz, if you will. But for now, they're just playing hearty but elegant tavern music. As people are coming in and finding their seats, there's still light coming in from outside as the sun is setting beyond the horizon. And you can see the space has this like collage of lights moving around, almost like Orin ordered a light machine that he stuck to the ceiling. But you would look up and see that there is sort of like an artifice tool up in the ceiling that's just sort of creating this turnstile of lights that goes around the room to give a little bit of in essence, except it's not really like the sparkles of a disco ball. It's more like a subtler version of a laser show. As it's more so, and you can see this is an artifice tool, so it is almost like reflecting the music in the room. Right now it has this gentle flow over the walls, and it sort of responds to the room in and of itself. Glittering against the different tinseled streamers they've put up all over the place. With at the center of the room at the center of one of the long tables is like sort of a finger food sort of cocktail hour snacks. As you can see, they're laid out all over the place. You have a lot of very delicious seafood laid out, raw bar laid out, with little like Orin's attempt at little like fancy foods, but most of them are little. Any point that he had to make something look nice, it doesn't look nice. For the simple things like a shucked oyster, those all look nice. But in the middle of this raw bar, there is that 6 foot tall thing that has a sheet over it right now. As people are coming in.
As we get towards 8 o'clock, Jaquet is gonna go over to Bruce and go, "Hey, Bruce, I was wondering if I could ask for a quick favor.
What was that?
One of your lollipops?"
Oh, what flavor you are? Pineapple.
That is-
You haven't had pineapple yet. It's really good.
Okay, pineapple sounds good. To give me a certain extra, what is it?
Charisma?
Eagles spend, yeah.
Yeah.
Charisma.
You got to suck on this one.
He pops it in and gives it a. He goes, oh, what is that flavor? I've never. Pineapple, you say? Where's it from?
Well, the candy shop didn't really tell me where. I mean, they just say like the north.
Fair.
Very general.
Well, pineapple is quite the interesting flavor. As he crunches down on it, goes like, well, I needed to get the buff as quickly as possible. So thank you so much, my friend. And remember, enjoy yourself tonight, but also be on the lookout and make sure nothing bad happens. And he gives a big toothy grin, thumbs up, and just zoom.
Zoom. Now he's got his little buzz from the lollipop.
Yeah.
Just like also like.
Also, you immediately think that's quite a tropical taste. Probably not from the north.
It's all the way around.
That's true. That's true.
Oh.
And then, so as guests are coming in, Jaquet grabs himself a glass of wine and is going to kind of go around and engage with everyone, greeting guests, and just because I think this is fun. If you'll recall, when dealing with passive skills, advantage or disadvantage increases or minuses it by 5. So with advantage to charisma checks, Jaquet's passive persuasion is 27.
Yeah.
Wow.
So he is just putting
cheeky
on
bastard.
all the airs. Yep, I'm a cheeky bastard.
Yeah, you see people. I mean, like anything, like even if you didn't have such charming skills, like people are just like, this is his party. This is the man of the hour. He's also, for the most part, if anyone's in the know, anyone reads the Hive and Times, does all this, they're like, this is you are all for one way or another, like micro celebrities in Hyven. People have heard about you if you're relevant to their business. So everybody has heard of Jaquet because he's a bard. So they're like, a bard, relevant to everybody's business. They might think of Fearn for fight night. They might think of Sass as the quirky one that they see by the beach all the time. And they're like, no one go near her. She'll bite you.
Again.
Yes.
Septimus is obviously is infamous in town for being what everyone's like that. Like the whispers around town would be like, there's a flagrant Machina's Whisper worshiper in town. And some people would be like, I don't know, man, that robot's pretty cool. And others would be like, that freaking abomination. And then Bruce has been here longest of everybody. Other than I guess Septimus, but he was from the countryside. So, and people know Bruce is the artificer, essentially, the guy who has the trinkets, the interesting things that get made. But definitely Jaquet is still the most famous of all of you, given his performances. So people want to talk to him. They're also excited. They don't really understand what's going on, some of them. So they're like, hey, almost hoping he'll like enlighten them to what's going on.
And whenever he greets people, like he makes it like very personable, and he's like, "Oh, I'm so glad you could make it. Like, thank you so much for coming and celebrating with me. Please have a drink. Get yourself something to eat. Have fun." As he's like, he's trying to make it like everyone, make them feel like they're wanted there. And like really playing it up. And then he's going to be, while he's doing this, greeting everyone, he's looking for a certain friend of his, a wild magic sorcerer, if you will, that he hopes to see.
Yeah, you absolutely can see your good buddy Reardon. He is looked like he's attempted to freshen himself up. He did not shave. He still has that rough 5 o'clock shadow, but he's tucked his tunic in, and he's got a slightly nicer belt. He's cleaned his jacket, but he's still wearing just like a very basic tunic that's kind of open at the chest too. And you can see him just sort of like in this jacket, looking like someone coming off the street, he's just back. Yeah, he's definitely not with product, just with water,
and grease,
and grease. And he's just sort of like. He's at the raw bar right now, and you can see him just like, he's going to town on the shrimp cocktail. going to town on the shrimp cocktail as he's just sort of like fingers wiggling and just be like, as he tries one thing and he's like, ooh, bacon wrapped scallops.
Takes one bite of the shrimp, puts it back.
Yeah, puts it back. He's like, and he like looks at like one of Oren's like waiters going around with a tray, and he like grabs something off of it, takes a bite out of it, and puts it right back on the tray. As he would then see you and be like, oh, and he's like wiping crumbs all over himself. He's just like,
Reardon, my friend, so good to see you.
Boss man, happy birthday. Happy birthday.
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
He like claps him on the shoulders. He's like, you clean up well. You're looking good. As he brushes off a little dirt from his shoulder.
Yeah, and he just like runs his hand through the greasy hair, swiping back. Like, I thought I'd look pretty good for tonight. It's your big day. It's a pretty good spread you've got here. As he grabs another shrimp cocktail.
Fearn's watching this, and he sees the waitress come by with the half-eaten thing, and he takes it and eats it himself. And he's like, "I hate that guy."
Yeah, it's stuffed mushrooms, by the way. What he put back.
And Jaquet goes, here, give me a hug. It's been so long. And he brings him into a hug, and then immediately whispering into his ear goes, all right, Reardon, I apologize, but you've got a job to do tonight. I assume you've been tracking some of those Mr. Greaves affiliated individuals, correct?
And then like immediately like just like deflates a little bit in your arms. Sealing goes, yeah, boss. Yeah, I've been keeping an eye on the other business and talking to some people.
All right, and then he like puts him away, to make it seem like he's not too, familiar. And then and he's like, all right, well, I need you to keep an eye on them. Let me know what they're doing, if they're talking to anyone else. If there's any airs of wrongdoing going on.
Okay, boss. I'll say if they're gonna show up tonight, it's gonna be one of two ways, most likely. They're either gonna make a show of it, try to steal some of the thunder of your party, or it'll be a little more subtle than that.
Well, if it's the subtle way, I'm counting on you. And Jaquet puts his hand out and he goes, it was so good catching up with you, my friend. Please enjoy yourself. And when Reardon shakes his hand, Jaquet palms him a gold piece and a note. No. I did not think of that. That would be funny. Not with this employee. But also with the gold piece is a little note that if he opens says to meet him at the Gatehouse Cat tomorrow.
Okay. He kind of like he kind of looks at it. He very subtly opens the note a little bit, shoves it in his pocket, and then just kind of like does a little like John Travolta meme looking around as he then goes back in for food. And then instead of sitting there eating it like a slob, he goes off to the corner with the food and takes a advantageous seat.
And then Jaquet, unless anyone approaches him, is just going to start inebriating himself. It looks like as he's just taking drinks, and if anyone offers him anything, he's like, oh, please, please. And he's just having a good time of it.
One thing will happen, and then I want everyone to let me know what they're doing at the party. So as you kind of like finish your rounds, you come up to get yourself a drink, Jaquet. Oren catches you, grabs your arm and goes, Mr. Touche, you don't want one of these drinks. You want something a little more special, right? Something for the birthday boy. Something nice and well chilled, I'd say.
Well, please, yes, of course.
Parry! Get the vintage, the champagne. Come on. And I was like, no, go get this fucking step stool. We need this to go right. And they lead you over to the center of the room near the raw bar, and they kind of clear everyone away a little bit. And he kind of pulls you in close. He's like, I'll order this special from an Avenarian wizard, I heard. So, hope you like it. And he looks at us. We're all here gathered today. It's about, takes out his pocket watch. It's about 8:05. So I say the party's starting. So let's all bring our glasses up high and proud for Mr. Jaquet Touche. Came into our lives not but a couple months ago. Changed the entire city, I'd say. And he kind of pulls you in tighter and he's, let's get a special drink out for everybody. Party? And he claps his hands. And she's like on a stool with this big bottle of champagne. She's like, all right, a special gift from the Avenarian mages from afar. And he whips the tarp down and you can see a tall ice sculpture of Jaquet.
Yes! Oh, amazing.
And this tall ice sculpture of Jaquet is holding a bottle of champagne. And Harry pours champagne into the top of its head. And Oren holds a glass out to the bottle on the statue, and it pours some chilled champagne into the glass, and he hands it to you, Jaquet.
By the moons and stars, this is something special, Oren. Thank you, everyone, for coming out and celebrating with me. And rest assured, I will be taking my place on that stage momentarily to give you all the gift you came for. Jaquet Touche!
Cheers erupt as Oren kind of squeezes you in one more time and then like slaps you on the chest. Enjoy yourself, boss.
And he downs it and gets another.
All right, so as Jaquet is being cavalcaded around to say hello to other people or people coming up to him getting himself some champagne, what is everyone doing in the party? Where are you positioning yourselves?
Bruce is probably in the corner where that little bump out where the booth is that we normally sit in.
Yep.
Bruce is just kind of like kicking his legs off the side of the booth.
No.
Mm-hmm.
You know, just looking out at the party.
Absolutely. Kicking it in the turret rooms, one of the turret rooms. All right, who's next?
Oh, go ahead, Clay.
Yeah, Fionn is in the actual center of the bar.
Mhm.
Like he's keeping an eye on everything, but he's also just like, enjoying himself. He's asking, shilling out drinks to people that he knows, sort of thing where if people get too rowdy, he like runs over there and like pulls them apart or whatever. But he's generally just like being a host sort of thing. Like, similar to what Jaquet was doing earlier, but a little bit more violent.
I mean, there's certainly people
who on the backs, giving them big hugs, stuff like that.
Absolutely. I mean, this is generally speaking like this. Interestingly enough, like meeting of classes also, where it's like you've got people here who are just like, oh yeah, I heard I might get a free drink off of old Jaquet Touche, but I also heard Fionn's gonna be there. Fucking white eye, that's right. Let's see if he cracks some skulls. As there's like fans of you here as well. There's some people who are like eyeing Sal from across the room because they're just sort of like, it's the machine. Some people are like, don't go anywhere near that kobold, he'll blow you up. And then others who are like, I'm pretty sure that fucking woman right there stole a sandwich from me a couple weeks ago.
That's Sea Pig?
Yeah, and then there's absolutely some people like, it's fucking sea hog. We should get ourselves a fucking hog in here. Maybe she'll chase it.
Yeah, Fionn's definitely with the rowdier crew, like kind of using himself as like a magnet to like filter it away from the more respectable side of the party.
Yeah, absolutely. Fionn, you would find like at some point you would see some of the pages from the Commodore's office show up, and they're like really like you're the nicest person to them, so they're all like, "Fucking Fionn," want to do shots with you.
I do shots with them for sure.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's at that point that you kind of have to pull them away because they basically turn the Jaquet statue into an ice luge. And be like, the center of the room's not for that. Okay, Sass, what are you doing?
Yeah, so anytime there's like a really upbeat song playing, I'm dancing on the dance floor by myself. I don't care if anybody asks to dance, I'll dance with them, but I'm perfectly happy dancing by myself. knocking back drinks. I am keeping one eye out for Aoife Valentine if she shows up, and another eye out. So they're just like that. But another one for just the trouble that Jaquet had mentioned. Like if anything seems weird.
Okay. And Septimus, where would we find you and Sal?
We will be standing by the bottom of the stairs to lead up to the inn. To kind of prevent anybody from maybe sneaking up there.
Okay. Yeah, keeping an eye on the stairs.
Just kind of Septimus is being very vigilant right now because he doesn't really party that much. So him and Sal are kind of there with like a force, kind of looking around, making sure nobody sneaks upstairs.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then 2 questions. Stefan, did you say that you were going to go on soon, or were you going to go do something later in the night?
I think he said he was going to be on soon. Yeah, okay. Probably like 39 or whatever.
Okay, that's fine. Yeah. And then, am I just general perception check, or you could just tell me, is there like gambling going on anywhere?
No perception check necessary. There are so we have Bruce in the back left. If you're looking from the stage, Bruce is in the back left turret, which is the one you all usually hang out in. And you can see Orin has cordoned off an area of one of the turrets as the VIP section. You can see that young tabaxi woman is like standing at with like a little like red velvet guard there that she has to undo to let anyone in.
My goodie bags are next to her.
Yep, the goodie bags are behind the red velvet line, so no one steals them. And you would notice, though, in the back right turret that is kind of just at the mercy of the party, you can see some gambling is happening. Some people have pulled out some cards. Some people have pulled out some dice. You can see it's probably some of the people who usually would hang out with Jaquet at the Otter Business, and then some others who are just interested in it. As there's sort of the whole area is turning into several different parties. You have gambling happening in one corner. You have Bruce's corner, where people are like, I don't know what's going on over there, so let's keep a little bit of a distance. But it's slowly, there's enough people in here that it's slowly encroaching on Bruce's area. We have the VIP section. We've got the dance floor. We've got the food. And then we have just sort of like general seating. And then all the bar services up by the usual bar. So there's definitely some gambling going on.
Noted. But for right now, so this would be, like you said, just being very vigilant.
Yeah, absolutely.
Until Jackie goes on.
You would notice Sal tapping his foot to the beat of the music. As anyone who's keeping vigilant for like trouble can give me a perception check. It's around 8:20 that some of the more VIPs start to show up in the same fashionably late attitude that Jaquet has. The first VIPs you would notice coming through would be Dean Bronan Uthakar and Dean Prina Mordak, who are rarely will turn away a party invitation. So they are, they're not dressed fancy, but they're dressed nice enough. Nowhere near as nice as they dressed on the retirement party. A little bit more relaxed, as they'd be the first folks to come that you would notice or recognize. Followed shortly by Sigil, who would show up and be immediately uncomfortable as he stands in the front entrance area looking around, before immediately just going and sitting in the same area as Bruce. And just sort of being like,
hey.
Good evening, Bruce. Not really my scene, but here to give well wishes to the birthday boy.
Plenty of space over here. Yeah.
Thank you. As he would sit with like his cane over his lap and just like very like quietly like tapping his hand on the head of the cane to the beat of the music, the extent to which he dances. Next, we would see the crew from the Hyven Times. You would
yeah.
see 3 representatives from the Hyven Times. We have Cass Alafina herself, the editor-in-chief of the Hyven Times, who gave you that rapid-fire interview that one time. I mean, this is a social event, so of course Morris Pappas is here.
Morris.
And then, of course, the third person you would see joining them is none other than Kellen Thibodeau, the Green Dragonborn. Looking a little begrudging, like he almost like they were closing up the Hyven Times, and they're like, "Come on, come to the party." But he's there. I said Sigil. You would also see arriving at this time. Where's his name? I have this alphabetized for a reason. Emile Ducant is here. And he has arrived with gifts. Not a VIP, but Jaquet, you would probably notice this in the gambling area. Finch the rat is here. Just gambling. Might have not even like really understood fully what this was, and just arrived to because he heard there was some good gambling that was going to be happening.
For sure.
And for the crew during this wave of folks coming, you would also see Dean Silrin arrive shortly after Prina and Bronin. Sass, you would notice that Aoife is not with her right now. But for now, those are the VIPs who have shown up, or people who are tied to important folks in the city.
Sure.
As of this moment, folks who will be around for the performance. Some less VIPs that you would notice between you all that are just people that you all know of. Very much akin to the way Reardon was rifling through the food. There's also a rather plain-looking gentleman. He's, just a regular guy with regular clothes, slurping down some of the cold soba noodles that are part of the appetizers. So we, of course, see Michael Udon has arrived.
He immediately goes up to him and fights him. Who the fuck are you, and what are you doing at my party? I've never seen you before.
I was told everybody can come. I got the invitation. Oh, Hyven, it said.
Roll initiative.
Hanging out near the gambling section, but maybe not like immediately within the actual tables, maybe halfway between the gambling and the food. You would see Galeo, the sailor, with Camila, and then kind of like trying to squeeze his way into the gambling tables. You would see the young dragonborn Arthax. You can see has like over his shoulder like a satchel that looks like it's meant to be a gift. But it's just like a burlap sack that he's keeping over his shoulder. That has like just like a little like ribbon on it of like a very like muted like pink, as if to be a marker of a gift. So we have those old friends of yours.
Friend's a strong word.
You would see Torcal is here.
Nice.
Just sort of hanging out, keeping a little bit to himself. Looks like he doesn't go to a lot of parties. Odwin, the bouncer. She has come.
Yeah. I was hoping she'd show up.
Very curious to see what's going on here after the runners came through the Widow's Ward to be like, oh, okay. Kana is here.
Nice.
Anna showed up.
Kana showed up. Well, she's not
Wow.
really like running a lot in her bar right now, so she's closed for the night.
This could have happened to her place.
Yeah, that's kind of a little bit. You imagine there's a little part of her who came here to be like, let's see what kind of fucking party they can throw at Harlequin Chalice. But as of this 8:20, 8:25 time, those are all the people you can recognize that are typical NPCs. There are plenty of others who may arrive throughout the night, but these are the first sort of wave of named NPCs you'll notice here. But as these people start to mingle throughout, you can see the deans going into the VIP section. They go to grab a goodie bag, but then Pari's like, not till the end of the night. Or Nara, sorry, not Pari. I'm sorry, sir, but I was specifically told you can't grab those until you're leaving. And then the rest mingling in different groups. But not before long, Oren would quiet the bards playing right now and look to the group as 8:30 comes around and say to them all, welcome, friends. We've done our cheers earlier tonight, but now it's time for what I believe many of you are here for. A performance on his very birthday from the one and only Jackie Touche. Come on out here, Jackie.
Yeah, so Jaquet does his usual, he had disappeared right before, and then the magical circle, kind of like Doctor Strange, appears in the back of the stage as he comes through to the applause, waving his doorway scepter. As he goes, thank you, my friends. Oh, it's so wonderful to see you all here. For me, how wonderful is that? I feel truly loved here in Hyven. It's a home away from home, truly.
Are you wearing your hat?
Yes, he's wearing his hat.
I'm so happy.
Oh, let's put this back up. He's, kind of dressed to the nines. He's got the seashell necklace. He's got the bracelet that Bruce gave him, but you can't really see it with all the other nice stuff that he's wearing. And, he's got his little cloak and his drums at his waist as he comes out. As he's like, yeah, so good to see you all here. Thank you again. Back home, it was always a big thing in my family. Birthdays, my father, he wasn't always there, but when he did come around, it was for birthdays, and he made damn sure that we all enjoyed it. So I'm very thankful that you all have helped me keep that tradition alive in my life. And then he, kind of goes off into it. He starts telling stories just, immediately. He's like, Iron and Mana, we've been busy. Just the other day, we were out in the wilds of the Raho Hills, and we encountered some bone snatchers, terrifying beasts, these unseelie fae from the darkness. And he goes into the whole thing and how awesome we were. Does not talk about the Modron and Lacuna and everything. And he, and then he just goes off on, how great Iron and Mana is, recounts some of our old stories, because we really don't have that much material, and intermix some about, stuff from Gwenvalor, like things that, his father had told him, and even mentions the Wayward Five, just as like and as any good adventuring party, we tribute one of the OGs, the Wayward Five. And then, he kind of talks about all that. And then he does mention a little bit, and he's like, and, Iron and Mana, we are the sanctioned adventuring party of the city. And with that, we have been working with Commodore Umadori, helping her to clean up the streets, as it were. Yes, she's got her eye out there on certain Mr. Greaves. It's a little too light for this.
You would hear like mixtures of reactions to this whole section of your speech. Like there's some people who are even like booing under their breath when you just mention the Commodore, and then others who are, there is a silence that comes over the room when you say Mr. Greaves. Before you continue, I just want to get those perception checks from our vigilant party members.
It was a dirty 20.
I'm
I get
drunk.
a 10.
It was a 9.
I got a 7.
Yep.
So vigilant.
So vigilant, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the shots, Fearn. They're getting to you. Sass. Okay, so I would say Bruce, Sass, Fearn.
Every so often, like I will like message Fearn just to his head and be like, still don't see anybody. No activity yet.
Over.
Over.
Baron's like, me neither, across the whole bar.
Yeah. He's eating crab cakes. But Septimus with a dirty 20, and from your vantage point in the corner of the room, or you're able to keep somewhat of an eye out across the room, and sort of conveniently on the direct opposite side of you is also Reardon keeping an eye out. And you're keeping an eye out for like reactions during this, I imagine, like people who are reacting to what Jaquet's saying, people who might look conspicuous.
People were maybe like just not reacting at all, just kind of just
Yeah.
sitting there, like they have like something on their mind.
Yeah. Jaquet, continue before I give anything further to
Sure.
Septimus.
And I meant to say, this whole time since the party started, even beforehand, Jaquet has been, seems he's drinking a lot. He's taking shots from people and everything. And when he went up on stage, his mage hand accompanied him with a full bottle of wine. And periodically throughout, he's been taking swigs from it. And you can even, all of you can you can see some of his signs. You've seen him drunk. As he's kind of starting to get that way a little towards this part, as he's like, the Commodore has her eyes on Mr. Greaves. And as a hush goes over the room, he goes, now who am I to say if she's right or wrong, but it's just, who does she think? She thinks she knows what's best for the city, Who even is she? She comes in here, Commodore, how you get a title like that? Huh? I ask you, he says to whoever's in the front row. How do you become the Commodore?
It gets really awkward for anyone you look directly at as you're saying this. But there's a few people who are like a little like quiet cheers in the back. Like you hear just like one guy clapping.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, how do you become a Commodore?
I get it. This
That was
Mr.
Sal that
Greaves.
slapped him. Oh,
I get it. Mr. Greaves, he's a troublemaker, right? But is he even real? The things I hear sounds like a load of hogwash to me, and I know a thing or two about hogwash, huh? He says, and like looking out to anyone, he's like, he needs to be taken down, though. The people of Hyben deserve to be able to sleep at night to know that they're safe, and that there aren't nefarious individuals out there trying to ruin birthday parties, if you think of it, Who knows what they're up to these days? But, and then he like looks around and but yeah, have I told you about the time we were in Stony Heath and we fought the cutters there, and then he kind of trails off into one of his stories again.
Septimus, it's as he like trips over himself a little bit there and mentions ruining parties, you would notice one person in the audience. They're real nondescript. It's not Mike Ludon, but they just have very simple, like clean dock workers clothes. They have like a half knit hat on, and they look nervous when you see them. And it's as Jaquet goes on and on that they seem to be slowly making their way closer to the stage. And it's they stop when Jaquet starts to the audience, appearing to be drunkenly rambling, says, ruin parties, if people want to ruin parties. And this person stops dead in their tracks and like looks around.
would I be able to make my way and move towards him to intercept him without like outwardly running and causing a scene?
You can give me a stealth check to try to seem to sneak through, or you can give me a performance check to seem nonchalant. And I could say for your purposes, you wouldn't be wearing, you don't necessarily need to be wearing your armor now, so you could do it with the regular roll instead of the disadvantage.
Thank you. That's very kind of you. I'll do a stealth roll. Okay, 16.
16. Okay, so the guy doesn't seem to notice you at first.
And I will say, as I'm stealthing towards him and I'm trying to intercept and kind of like get up to him, my goal is to kind of like get up to him, like grab him, be like, "What do you think you're doing?" However, if he looks like he's about to like rush or jump on the stage, can I hold an action to hold him?
To hold person. Oh, absolutely, 100%. You can 100% do that. Septimus, roll me an initiative roll.
Looking good. 18. Seppi's coming back.
Okay, Seppi. You would, given your stealth roll of a 16, and given your initiative roll, you will be able to act before this guy does anything, a la hold person or grabbing him. As Jaquet returns to his regular discussion of your antics, this guy seems to almost like resolve himself as you're getting closer. And you can see there's a moment where he's like, and you see he starts to push through the crowd now to get closer to the stage. And it's not necessarily that he's bum rushing it, but he's clearly intentionally trying to get closer to Jaquet.
Okay.
So would you like to trigger your hold person, or just go up and try to stop him? Because you definitely have to get to go before him here.
I'll just try to grab him.
Okay, give me a grapple check.
Not the right move.
So that's either an athletics or an acrobatics check to grab onto him. Or, I'm sorry, just an athletics. It's acrobatics to try to get out of it.
11.
Okay, so when you go up, I'll say you put a hand on his shoulder, and he looks like he's about to like cast it off and resist. But that's when you notice another hand goes on his other shoulder. As you can see, Reardon also saw him. And now the two of you have like your hands on this guy's shoulder, like security on a guy about to bum rush the stage. And he just sort of like looks around. And he's like, what are you doing? I did something wrong?
Oh, we have a quick chat.
I don't know what you're talking about, man. I'm just here to enjoy the party. Just trying to get a better look at Jackie Touche.
All right. Well, how about we get to know each other?
His amicable grin fades as he looks you in the eyes. And he looks to Reardon, who just sort of nods his head back to kind of support you. You don't understand. You don't understand. I have to do this. And he's taking deep breaths to gear himself up to do something as he then tries to push and break free of this gentle grapple to bum rush the stage now.
Do we see this happening or no?
Not with your perception checks.
Bummer.
Septimus, he has essentially started dashing forward to try to get up to the stage. Do you want to hold him down further? I'm gonna have him do a check to break the grapple.
Yep.
So if you want to roll another athletics check, so hold on to it.
Ooh, yeah, he slips right out of my fingers. That's a 3.
Oh, Reardon, you bitch. Reardon, this guy really does like slip out of your grasp, and Reardon like goes to grab for him, and Reardon actually like grabs one of his arms and tries to pull him back. Now everyone in the room notices this at this point. Some people start to scream in the crowd as they see some commotion going on. Jaquet, you notice something happening as you can see Septimus and Reardon trying to take this guy down. As this guy slips out of Reardon's hand and he gets about 10 feet away from you, Jaquet. Septimus, you may intervene here.
Person?
You can cast Hold Person here.
I would love to.
Okay. What's the DC?
17 wisdom.
Okay. Hold Person is cast on this man as he holds an arm out. And Jaquet, you see slinging from his wrist is an arm pistol. A little tiny arm pistol that comes out and is pointed at you, and he's frozen, pointing this at you right now as the Hold Person goes into position. As he's just like on one knee, as he almost like fell in the crowd, he's just holding this pistol up, pointed at you.
And see, they fear me. And at this, Jaquet's tone has kind of changed a bit as he goes, Mr. Greaves is out there sweating because we're putting pressure on him. And Jaquet walks down the stage to this individual and like pulls out the wrist pistol.
Mm-hmm.
And he goes, and he holds it up and as it goes, fuck him.
as I imagine Reardon and Septimus come rushing up to the guy, and Reardon kind of grabs onto him. I'm
sure at this point Fearn also sees too.
Yeah, this is the point where I go bouncer mode and like, grab his arm, throw it like up into the air, so like even if he could get the trigger off, it would just hit the ceiling and like, pull him out and throw him out of the party. Maybe kick him a few times outside.
Is there anybody else that's, now that person made their move, that was like following their cue?
Give me another perception check. Most of the audience is kind of like pushed and created an opening where this guy was as people came over. Some people are kind of like really clutching their pearls about this. Some people are just snickering as they're like, of course, something's going to happen tonight. What'd you get?
14.
No one seems to be like running or reacting and like, oh shit, we're screwed and getting out of there. I will say with a 14, you do notice that Sam has slipped in here. Just like in the corner, you just see Sam leaning against the wall with a big smirk on his face, watching this whole thing go down. And as you're watching him, he would catch your eye and just give you a wink in that weird way that Sam is just a weirdo. You can imagine him you can imagine him going, Sam winks at you and you don't wink back.
Mm-hmm.
Sigil, how's
You see Sigel's like, oh dear Bruce, I do believe there's a scuffle going on out there.
Oh, is there? Oh. Oh, shit.
Yeah, take him upstairs.
All right.
Jaquet, maybe rile everybody down, time everything's all right. We'll try to mediate the situation upstairs.
But yeah, Jaquet returns and he's still like holding the arm pistol, and he's like he puts it away, and he'll kind of continue. He'll try to defuse the situation. He's like, all right, everyone, there was always excitement with Iron and Mana, but don't worry, you're never in harm's way. That's what we're here for. We'll take the bullets for you, the swords, the daggers, the bolts, the knives, the magic, the monsters, whatever. Iron and Mana stands with you. And
cheers.
Talking about that, and then he goes into the thing about the demons in the woods.
Yep, and People are enwrapped in it. They completely forget about the fact there was an assassination attempt that happened 5 minutes ago, and they go right back to the party. Maybe a few people leave early because they're like, I don't know, there might be another attack. But for the most part, you are still in Hyven, and people who are VIPs coming down from the Admiralty Court, they know that they're in the lower city. They know there's no guards here. They know that it's entirely like they know the dangers that is just being in Hyven at night, essentially. If something goes wrong with important people.
Sorry, that was one of my notes. And I guess playing off of this, Jaquet does kind of like do another little dig at the Commodore, being like, "Oh, she's got guards up there, but let's the rest of us, wallow. Like, how much is she?" And so the whole time he's like interlacing this whole thing with the Commodore isn't really that great. She's not really on your side, but Iron and Mana is. And, we both, we're in this together to take down Mr. Greaves because he's clearly bad. But, like, why is the Commodore doing it? And, like, kind of being like, is it a power struggle kind of thing? Like, does she just want all the power for herself? I'm not going to roleplay all this because that's a lot to do. So it's just a bullet point for me.
Just give me a performance or persuasion roll just to gauge the effectiveness of this message.
Has it been an hour?
It has not been an hour. So you still have that.
I'm going to go performance just so, I don't have natural 20.
Okay.
Natural 20 for a 32.
My God.
Okay, so, at the very least, you can understand that your message is being delivered and received. No one's, like, scoffing you off and not listening. People are hearing about it. And it's like at this point, you also would notice some of the, we're getting closer to 9 o'clock. You were performing for quite a while, and you start to see some other people walking in at this point. You are catching this last message. Cadmus Mavolo arrives with 2 other professors with him. They may not have been on your individual invites, but are here.
Sure.
There's Sebastian Wendt is with him, and Coralius Firma, who you didn't meet, Jaquet, but Bruce and Septimus met. Omar has arrived with his ruffians.
Hell yeah. If Jaquet's still on the stage, he points to them. And let's not forget our orphans. They make Hyven what it is.
The future of Hyven
is with our children. Running around in the Lighthouse District.
Yep. As you can see, they immediately raid the food. Lucas Pascal shows up with a book and goes and immediately sits with Bruce and Sigil. You can see I already said Finch was here. There's some other folks from the docks that show up. You can see Galdus and Amira show up, actually. Diego, the dock workers, with them. And it's at this later moment that Dean Aoife would show up. And the last person in this round that you notice is actually Docker, the bookie from Fight Night.
I don't know how much time we have left, Sean, so if we're gonna spill this over into next session, I can wait to talk to Aoife.
We'll do a little bit still to finish out tonight, but this will certainly spill over into the next session. We're not gonna end it here. There's so much juiciness that could happen. But these folks arrive at the tail end of your story. They arrive probably amidst the tussle with the assassination attempt. Anyone watching would see Dean Aoife go and join the VIP area, where Silrin looks a little upset with her for being so late. But Prinna immediately hands her a drink. And you can actually see some people hovering around the VIP section now. And there's just that awkward thing.
Bag, right?
It's maybe, but it's mostly like they think there's interesting people there, and there's this moment now where it's like there's people like Bronin loves talking to people. So Bronin is like at the edge of the VIP section, keeping himself on the one side of the silken rope, but talking to all the people on the other side of the silken rope and like throwing out, loud, boisterous compliments, serving drinks to people from the bottles that are in the VIP section. Like Bronin is a people's man, while Silrin, Prina, and Aoife are kind of in the back part of it. To themselves. The Hyven Times folk, Morris is clearly working. Like he's got his little notepad out. He's basically, you can imagine. Well, first of all, he's writing furiously since the assassination attempt, and then you can imagine he's probably taking like an audit of all the people of importance who are here. Emil has made his way into the VIP section, just given that he's seems to be the representative from the Commodore's office here. No sign of Doyle, no sign of the Commodore herself. Another person that you would notice come in at this point is Tullus, the Goblin, who is the head reveler of the Revelry of Roe here, who is very excited to see the revelry, so to speak. He would stop by you, Sass, and thank you again for your donation to the revelry.
Think nothing of it. I do it again in a heartbeat. Just splashing the drink everywhere.
Well,
come dance.
Here we go. and as the head reveler, of course, he is all about the dancing and does not feel any embarrassment. He's not great at dancing. But yes, Fearn, you could bring this would-be assassin up to one of the rooms and lock him in there, tie him up, however you wish to contain him.
All of the above, and I beat him up until he's knocked out.
Which I imagine also starts with him just being still held personed. That's almost like in that scene in
the
Click.
And or is it Click? Yeah, Click, where he's just slapping him over and over again while he's frozen.
Yeah.
I say, uncle, if you want me to stop. Just keep hitting.
Yeah, and once it wears off, he's like, uncle. But yes, you can contain and beat him up a little bit before heading back to the party. Sass, you might be keeping your eye on Sam, the smuggler, during this time. Or maybe even if you want to let Reardon know about that so you can dance.
Yeah, I'll do that. I'll tell Reardon. It's like, hey, that fucker's over there. Note he likes to talk to himself in the third person. It's fucking weird. Just he's the reason for all of this. He's the one that we were rude to and why that whole thing went down. So I don't know if you want to talk to him, throw him out, see if there's anybody else looking at him. I don't know, but he's over there.
I'll keep an eye on him.
Right.
And Reardon just sort of like awkwardly finds a spot close enough to Sam to watch him and just sort of bites into an apple he found.
Let me know when I get done with what I'm doing.
Yeah, I imagine it's like as people return to full normalcy, Jaquet comes down from the stage, and it's back to sort of the moment to moment of the party. Is when you can come back down. Say it's around a little after past 9. Really, when people are also starting to get really rambunctious amongst themselves, as opposed to just the thrill of the stage. People are throwing drinks back, cheersing. You can see there's people who don't really see each other that often because they're from different areas of the city who are seeing each other and recognizing each other. You see Orin goes up to Arthax at one point and puts him in like a headlock and kind of like nuzzles his scales a little bit as they hug, as anyone who remembers Arthax absolutely buys booze off of Orin for his some of Orin's home brews from the basement.
The bathtub booze.
The bathtub booze. As occasionally at this point, people are trying to get to Jaquet, though, to get some time with him. There's a few people who clearly have some gifts for him. Some of them might be looking to do it right away. Others are waiting for him to come to them, essentially. But is there anything particular anyone is looking to do at this point? given the guest list that's here.
I think Fearn would probably take a little bit more of a serious role after the attempt. You know, kind of just like keeping people away from Jaquet if it gets too crowded, sort of thing. Like, you know, just kind of playing, you know, bodyguard, unless he sees Sam, because I think he'd be pretty pissed if he saw him at the party.
Okay. What's everyone else doing? I know Sass is going to be dancing, I'm sure, with Tullus for now.
Yeah, and I mean, I do want to talk to Aoife, but I don't know how long the conversation will be, so I don't want to
No problem.
take up time.
You can always start the conversation. But Septimus, what are you doing?
Now that that's kind of subsided, I feel like Fearn kind of like took over watching for a second. Like he brings him upstairs. Septimus will go upstairs too, but not to wherever Fearn took him. While he just passes by, just like hears him, I guess, just beat the shit out of him.
Yeah.
He'll go to his own room. He'll go to his own room. He'll take out that platinum coin that he had. And he will cast creation.
Ooh.
And he will create another platinum coin.
I'm sorry. Is Septimus getting into the money laundering counterfeit business?
So, I mean, you can read it yourself, but it says you must have a piece that you can duplicate, and you create it from the materials, from nothing, essentially. And it lasts for different amounts of time. So for precious metals, it will last for 1 hour.
1 hour. Yeah. Hell yeah, buddy. I love it.
To which, after he creates it, he will go downstairs and try to find Jaquet.
Okay. I'll say at this point, Jaquet, you're getting a little corralled. Like people are moving you around a little bit. And it seems like there's a certain amount of people who are trying to get you to sit down in a booth so that some people can give you gifts.
Okay.
That's basically what I'm there for. You know, like I'm making them like make a line essentially.
Yeah. You're keeping the queue in order. As it's not a super long queue. It's just some people have gifts for Jaquet.
Is it just like a one-on-one thing where they walk in and give him a gift, and then
it's kind of like Jaquet is sitting in a booth and like Fearn is like telling people not they can't come in or they can come in. So you know, Orin is sitting next to him.
In the mall situation.
Yeah, it's a bit of a Santa in the mall situation, mingled with like the Godfather in the back room.
Yes, okay, perfect. So Septimus will walk up to that line and look to Fearn, and it's just like, may I talk to Jaquet for a second?
Your number. Take a number. You're
Fearn,
number 2.
for God's sake. Jesus
I'm just
Christ.
kidding. Go ahead.
I mean, Machina's soul.
Whisper.
Yeah, and you see the last person to be with you, Jaquet, as like Orin is taking some swigs of wine with you, is Arthax, the Dragonborn, the Black Dragonborn.
Yep.
As he's there and he just like pushes across to you this burlap sack with a pink ribbon, and he's just like, haven't seen you for a while, Mr. Tichard. It's not since we found you out in sea.
Yes, yes. Clearly,
It's
Jaquet
me.
did not recognize him at all. Just total the look on his face was like look at this wonderful person, but behind the look was who the fuck is this person?
So, and you know, this is something that my pappy made that I think you might enjoy. You know, you were awfully rude on that ship, but you know, you were awfully kind when you left. And your friend Saskia. And he's like looking around for her. Oh, so nice. But yes, please take some. Please take some. Oh, I'm just so excited to see you again, Mr. Tichard. You know, I'm a little, and he kind of like gets into his kind of like nervous, like looking around.
Yeah.
You know, I didn't think that I'd be allowed inside, you know, given she's just a dock worker, you know, just a simple deckhand, you know, and you know, so the stories of the pirates that Sass was talking about. You know, yeah, Camilla doesn't like it, and you know, I just kind of thought they were interesting stories, and thought maybe I could talk to her about potentially going out the seas together. You know, I don't know if sailor life's for me, but piracy.
Good to see you. Thank you so much. Of course, everyone is welcome in the House of Touchard. Or the Harlequin Chalice is technically its name, but I'm gonna talk to the owner. You know how it is. So let's see what you brought me. And he opens up the bag.
Yeah, so it's a clay jar that if you take the top off of it, you are hit with some of the strongest alcohol you've ever smelled. But the after it burns your whiskers off a little bit, there is a sort of a sweet appley scent at the tail end. Like this might be moonshine that has just been infused with apples and cinnamon.
This looks wonderful, he says, looking around.
And you see Arthax is like scratching at his scales that are like flaking off a little bit, and he's like, oh yeah, no, it's my pappy's special. The apple shine, yeah, it's really good. I'd love to have a sip with you right now before we let the others in.
Of course, my friend, of course. And he looks around and like gestures to Orin to get like 2 shot glasses.
And he goes, no. And he reaches into the burlap sack, and you can see like some miraculously not shattered. There are these 2 little like ceramic shot glasses that are not like a full like shooter glass. They're more like a bowl, a small bowl.
Yeah.
That he then sort of like slowly lifts and pours like a very small amount of this alcohol into each of them. As he holds it up, and he goes, to your good health, Mr. Touchard.
I appreciate it, my friend.
He clinks it, and he just...
And it's a little amount, so Jaquet takes it, and he... Oh, that's good. Ooh, okay. As he lets the palate roll across his tongue, he's like, it's a very strong start, but oh no, that's very nice at the end. Who's your grandpappy?
Oh, my grandpappy?
Yeah, we should talk about maybe he could, go commercial with this,
Oh yeah, my grandpappy Fergus.
Fergus, okay.
Yeah, he lives up in the Piscator's Row. Old salty sailor.
Fantastic. Well, maybe we'll see about getting this stuff sold around. Get your grandpappy some extra coin for all his great work.
Oh, I think he'd love that. I think that'd be rather grand, Mr. Touchard. Now, when can we expect you to visit up in the Piscator's Row?
Soon, I'm busy with all this adventuring stuff, but I'll be by soon. Don't you forget it.
Oh, sorry, I was just a little distracted over there by your big guard there. Fearn.
Go ahead, my friend. Yes,
Thanks,
Fearn, you remember him.
Arthax, yep, that's enough. Thanks. We really
Arthax,
appreciate
that's his
it.
name.
All right.
Arthax, he says, looking him directly in the eye. Thank you so much for the gift, and we'll be in touch. Enjoy yourself now. Please, drink up.
Immediately viscerally uncomfortable with the eye contact you're making with him, and like looks anywhere else. Also almost certainly like 16 years old.
Right.
As he wanders out, and Septimus, you can step in.
Septimus, my friend, you what gives? Thank you for stopping that man. And Jaquet kind of pulls him in, and he's like, "Is it taken care of?"
Fear knocked him out and tied him up upstairs. So for right now, it doesn't seem like
Perfect.
there's any more threats. But I come on lighter news.
Oh,
I was kind of inspired by the gift that Bruce had given to you, that I thought maybe I can give you another gift myself. As he just holds over his hand, it's like his to like open it up in palm. As I drop the platinum coin into his hand.
and he takes it out, and he's like, "Septimus. Sorry, I'm a little more expensive than that."
That is not, well, it's as real as it can be right now, but it's not actually a platinum coin. It's a duplicate that I created from this.
Oh.
But it is entirely identical down to everything, where it's unnoticeable. I mean, you didn't notice it yourself. But
No.
it only lasts for about 50 minutes or so. So do with that whatever you will. Or not, maybe nothing. But I thought maybe you can I don't know what come across your mind, but I figured you'd have some good use for it.
While they're having this conversation, Fearn's trying to swipe the moonshine.
It was left unattended next to Jaquet, who is much more enamored with this single.
Fear and Orin definitely sees you eyeing it and grabs it and brings it over to you, and the two of you can have a shot.
Nice.
Yes, Orin's like, his puppy does real good stuff, man. This stuff, it'll burn the warts off a horse, but it'll also make you not perfect.
Yeah, I gotta catch up. I was busy upstairs for a while.
But Septimus and Jaquet.
Jaquet looks at Septimus, and the look in his eye is one of calculated, understanding almost. He goes, I always struck you for goody two shoes, but there's something conniving in that brain of yours, isn't there?
Oh, when it comes to making money or somewhat victimist, I guess so. But I just know I couldn't pull off, I guess, how would you say, scamming somebody?
Well, I'll remember this, and if I can, and he does that cool trick where he flips it down his fingers and rolls it back up, flips it and catches it, and then makes it disappear. He's like, I'll try to put it to good use tonight.
Yeah. Remember,
in honor of our friendship.
Well, again, another gesture of a gift. But if nothing comes of it, no worries at all. Just takes another long rest.
Don't all good things.
As I'll get up and he's like, enjoy the rest of your gifts from everybody here.
I'm sure I will. Thank you again.
And a bit of a line has collected, as some of the other folks, like even Sigil, has lined up at this point. Sass, you notice that Aoife is alone right now. She's sort of she hasn't left the VIP area, but she's leaning on the side of it near the ropes, while the rest of the deans have gotten in line to talk to Jaquet.
Okay. Then I will go over there and I'll pick up one of my goodie bags, and I will approach her kind of swaying because I've had a lot to drink and just there's a lot of dancing on the floor. So I'm kind of steady myself and walk up to her, just be like, did you get one of these? I want to make sure that you did. They're for everybody in the VIP section.
And you see she's got one hand under one elbow and she's holding up a martini in the other hand. She looks at you and she's got that visage that is the horns that kind of grow back, the eyes with the black sclera, the reddish pink skin, that unique hexblood look that she has, as she looks down at the bag and up at you. I was told we couldn't collect those until we left.
Well, that was my rule because I'm the one that made them, so I can do whatever the fuck I'd like with them, and I'd like you to have one.
She sips her martini and then puts it down on the nearest table and takes it out of your hand, snatches it.
Yeah.
Did you have further inquiries,
yes.
darling?
Yep, I did. Yes. That's not my accent. Yes, I did. I actually had a question for you. I can't for the fucking life of me remember who told me this, but someone said that you've got some knowledge about fae beings and it's otherworldly beings. I just wanted to pick your brain a little bit if you had a moment.
You're referring to my work on the effects of fey creatures on their environment surrounding them, my work on the rift in Gwenvalir, my studies of fey folk and their movements about the material plane on this very strange century we find ourselves all living in.
Aye, yeah, that.
Aye, that. Mm-hmm. And she opens up the bag and she looks at it and she goes, curious amalgamation of trinkets.
Aye.
And she raises another eyebrow at you and is, I'm sure many will not see the value in some of these items, but I can see some.
Thank you. I was hoping at least one person would. Some useful
And she
things in there.
closes the bag really fast, like just like crumples it up in her hand, and she's, I'd almost mistake you for a witch.
Oh. Well, I actually have been called that before. Not very nicely, I might add.
Seashells and trinkets of past lives, coins, a sea hag, maybe even.
I'm sorry. What is your point?
I was just curious. It's up to me in my types of studies to identify strange people and their strange relationships. And I'd say, looking at all of this,
It's not junk. I say that very, very defiantly.
and you see she looks at you and she cocks her head as if she's recognizing you now from the party.
Yeah.
I was going to say scrap.
Oh, were ya? Treasures. For a special occasion.
Well, seeing as you're from the same places as Silrin, I'm sure you know all sorts of things about treasures. I will have to say, what was your name again?
Saskia,
Saskia.
Professor.
Perhaps we can talk. You've piqued my interest with these bags. But not tonight.
Of course. No, it's a party. You should be able to enjoy yourself, and this topic is... She put a hand up to stop me talking.
No, she was just checking her nails.
Oh, okay. I couldn't tell. Couldn't tell. No, it's a party, and you should be able to enjoy yourself. And the topic I'd like to talk about is rather grim. So,
There's most stories involving the Fae these days. But nonetheless, I'd be very interested to speak with you. But I'm sorry, tonight it is for festivities and also amending relationships. Unfortunately, may have pissed off some of my friends arriving late. Excuse me. I must go tend to them.
of course. Thanks for your time.
Of course. Bruce.
I imagine at this point, Bruce comes out from the back kitchen holding the cake.
Yes.
Happy birthday to you.
What is this?
Happy
I don't understand.
birthday to you.
Oh
Happy
no.
birthday, dear Jaquet.
Jaquet.
Happy
touche.
birthday to you. And there's
You
like
see Sal
3
clapping.
candles on there.
Sal's clapping.
And Bruce puts up one hand and he's got like a little button and he hits it and there's in all 4 corners of the room. There's just explosions that go off that are pretty violent. But it's a lot of confetti just abruptly.
Yeah.
It actually like kind of damages the where
Oh,
they
yeah,
were
scorch
planted.
marks in the corners. yeah. As it's just like party confetti flying out with a bunch of like sparklers and sparks shooting out and like several layers of fireworks firing out inside against many Koboko codes. But shooting out, you see like there's a lot of smoke in the room afterwards, and like little burned, singed confetti pieces all over. But it's like going really big, and the band like gets into it. The lights, the magical lights, start going crazy all over the place. A few people drop to the ground, thinking there's another assassin.
Fear just elbows out a window to try and get some of the smoke out.
But yeah, Bruce has got like a really big toothy grin, and he's holding the cake up to Jaquet.
You shouldn't have. He says, eyeing the pandemonium that's circling around the ceiling as he's like, "Thank you, sweet, sweet Bruce." As he blows out the candles.
And Bruce places the cake on the nearby table, and all right, we need plates and forks.
Right. And Oren just goes rushing over, and like Oren is so drunk at this point. After drinking with Jaquet and taking some shots with Fearn, like he is like running around. You can see Perry following him all over the place as she's kind of like, okay, I'll take those plates from you now. As he goes, and he has like a big cake cutting knife. She's no. I think you should go sit down. But as all this commotion is going on, Sass, you kind of sit there quietly watching Aoife go into the crowd, where she joins back up with Silren, who gives her a little pouty look as Bronin nudges Silren on the arm, and that group has their own B plot going on elsewhere in the world. You see Sigil kind of standing there tapping his staff. He has like a poorly wrapped package in one hand. You can see all these guests lining up, and Fearn, you kind of can like see this as well as you're kind of manning the line. Septimus, you're stepping out to where the cake is, maybe going and congratulating Bruce on his fire show. Bruce, you're excited because it went off without a hitch as far as you're concerned. Scorch marks be damned, you can't see them. And all through this, Jaquet, you're watching this group out there, and through all this smoke that's billowing throughout, there's one individual standing in line at the head of the line right now that throws you off entirely as you see them. You almost feel your stomach sink as you recognize the face of this person. A large tabaxi man with deep black fur specked with dark gray spots. He wears a gold doublet with a violet coat, matching courtly pants and a feathered Tudor cap. His numerous rings clang together as he taps his fingers. He wears many piercings of gold and silver in his nose and ears, connected with chains. He is followed by what looks like a guard. He steps forward with this sour look in his face as he makes eye contact with you. You recognize this man as a representative, a trade administrator for the Domu Gosu Trading Company. Someone who is a strong-armed trader for your family. His name is Ahmed Dubois. And he's staring you down.
Hey, Dubs.
As he steps forward, I see that you are wasting your family's money. And you have not changed your habits. This filth.
Wait a minute. Wait, no. This money is my money that I earned doing adventuring work here.
Regardless, I see the filth you hang yourself around with. Nothing's changed, has it?
Okay, Dubs. I mean, who are you to pass judgment on me? You're not even part of the family. What are you even doing here anyways? I didn't think we had connections in the Aldhalor Islands yet.
He steps forward and almost like flaps his cloak from behind him as the guard comes up and pulls the chair out for him as he sits down across from you. And he just sort of clacks his rings on the table. How disappointed your family would be to see you here. Drunkard.
Okay, now, first off, as we both know, my family was always disappointed with me. So this is nothing new. All right? And I came here to get away from them.
He yawns as you say that.
Don't yawn at me.
No. Young Jaquet, your vacation's over. We heard news of someone over here as we were establishing our trade lines. End of this week, when I am done negotiating with this Commodore, you're coming home. End the charade.
Okay, well, no. Okay, well, if you're talking with the Commodore, then you're gonna need me. I've made it good with her.
Pack your things, Jaquet. End of the week. You're coming home. Your brother's orders.
And Jaquet just slumps back, almost defeated look crossing his face. As this time he looks around, sees the moonshine, grabs it, and just takes a quick slug, and it washes all over his face and down his front as he just looks back at, what was his name?
Ahmed Dubois.
Ahmed, and he just goes, I'm gonna make this hell for us both. As he takes another chug.
And you see Ahmed just sort of like runs his hand over the smooth table, taps it a few times. Belligerent as always, Jaquet. One way or another, end of the week, whether we have to drag you onto the ship screaming and crying like a baby, you're coming home. We've caught up with you. It's over. Enjoy your revelry. As he'll tap the table one more time with his rings and stands up. And just holds up his hand. 5 days.
Jaquet just glares at him over the top of the moonshine urn. Not saying a word.
Glaring with his glaring at the guard while this guy's talking the whole time, just like waiting to see if he like notices him, and then when he does notice him, like, you know how intimidated he is.
This guard is highly disciplined. Almost both a guard and somewhat of a chauffeur, somewhat of a assistant. As Dubois just sort of taps the table again, and as he stands up, the guard is immediately there to pull his chair out for him and push it back in. The guard is not really paying attention to you too much at this point once they're in the room with Jaquet, but just sort of it does eventually make eye contact with you. And at first you thought this guard just had like a really cool helmet that had horns on it, but as you get a closer look at them now, they look to be like a minotaur. A tall minotaur. You can see kind of an oxen snout now that you're not like eating cake and sharing booze with Orin. And you see them, and he just sort of looks at you with a
Fear, as soon as he like makes contact, he gives that, you know, devilish grin that he always gets before he gets into a fight, and he says, "Trot along now, little cow."
And you see Ahmed Dubois, as like ritzy as he is a large man. Like he himself also looks like someone who could scrap in a fight. He just prefers to have people he pays do it. Like just like the worst of Jaquet's sort of upperclassness is so deep within this man. He even, like, as he's walking by you all by the cake, just sort of gives you all a sneer, as he just holds a hand up to the Minotaur guard and says, "Do not lower yourself to the filth of this city. Come, we have work to do." He sort of does a little... Yeah, go ahead.
This guy's pockets. What does he have in his pockets?
Well, he's got a shit ton of money. That's for sure. Future certificates. Yeah.
Weapon?
He does not have a weapon on him. The Ahmed does not have a weapon on him.
And the guard?
Oh, the guard has a weapon for sure. He has a warhammer at his waist.
Okay.
But they leave immediately. They were only here to make contact with Jaquet. And as there's a bit of a sourness on Jaquet's face,
And moonshine.
and a lot of moonshine on him now, and you all kind of, the pause ends and a little bit of the party brings the noise back in. Like outside of the booth and not near you all, like the party kept going, but like people could clearly in the line see there was an awkward exchange in there, and Jaquet poured moonshine on it all over himself. As Ahmed Dubois, the trade administrator for the Domu Gosu Trading Company, leaves for the evening. And I think that's where we'll end tonight and pick up the party next week to finish it out. Thank you all for joining us tonight for Adrift in Aldhalor, and for a interesting party that is filled with assassination attempts and long lost family friends and some awkward conversations. We're gonna send. I actually don't see anybody I know that's to raid, so I think we're actually just gonna call it tonight. So thank you for joining us. We'll see you all wherever we see you. Hope you enjoyed this wherever you're watching it. Have a lovely evening. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.